All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a place. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.
Trying to talk about everything.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to a very, very special ASAP broadcast. I'm joined by the one and only Mike Hughes. Mike, good evening, buddy. How are you, man?
I'm doing well, man. I got my tacos today, thanks to Kyle Schwarber, courtesy of Kyle Schwarber. Always appreciating the love. But yeah, man, it was a great day of baseball yesterday. I'm really excited to get back into it. Back-to-back games. That's why I love the World Series. Could be an excuse, could be a reason why you extend another push into winning another game. So, Craig, how are you feeling today?
I'm good, man. This is definitely a little bit out of the element for us being on the morning show all the time, but we have been talking about doing something like this for a long time, ever since the division round series, I think it was. So to have this kind of a broadcast for us is going to be a lot of fun. Dre, what's up? Welcome, man. Appreciate you tuning in tonight. Yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun, man. They're doing the Star Spangled Banner right now for Game 2 of the World Series. And hey, so speaking of like Game 1 last night, I don't think when the Phillies get down 5-0, you're like, oh, okay. All right, this Astros are going to roll. This is going to be one of those series. The storybook ending might be over for the Phillies. And they come back. They put 5 up on Verlander, and then it's a real ball game from that point.
Yeah, man, it was insane, and it's one of those things going into it. You understand Justin Verlander and Clayton Kershaw hold hands when it comes to World Series appearances and World Series performances, more than likely. You look at both of those guys, and you expect to see what you expect to see, and that's what it is. I know it's a very broad statement, but it's the reality of it is you know what you're going to get from those guys when it comes to the World Series. Hall of Famers, without a doubt, and I think there's a great conversation going around that, Justin Verlander could potentially get his 3rd Cy Young this season. So, I mean, that's great. And he's an amazing pitcher. He's an amazing athlete and an amazing Hall of Fame career. But unfortunately, he's, what is it now? He's 0-8 in the World Series and has over 6.00 ERA. I mean, it is what it is. The writing was on the walls, and I felt like, going into it, I don't know if you saw the pregame show we did before. It's kind of similar to what we're doing right now, but I basically said in order for them to win, they really just need to jump on Justin. Because if they jump on Justin, I feel like they have a great chance of winning this game. And it honestly took a lot longer than I thought it was going to take. It really did. Justin held his own. He was throwing no-hit baseball for quite a while. I mean, it was great to see. But Craig, for you, I want to ask you, what did you see from Aaron Nola? I mean, the guy who's been there since I was 8 years old, pitching in the World Series the last time. So to see him back and doing it again, with the career that he's had, how did you feel he performed?
I think if you look at him being able to, I give him a lot of credit for, you get in there and you only pitch 4 1/3 and you give up 5 runs, but he was still able to put his team in a position to still be in the game. I mean, his career, and it's great to see him in the World Series, and just a lot of guys like Bryce Harper and stuff to get him in the World Series. It's great to see Philly back in the big stage. And I think not only getting Aaron Nola to that position, but I would say, like, I think the bullpen did exactly what they needed to do. That was kind of the question mark for the Phillies coming into the series and really throughout the season, is their bullpen versus the strength of their starting pitching. And yes, I think they might have kind of stretched their bullpen a little thin early by using so many different pitchers. They used Alvarado, Eflin, Suarez, Domingos, and Robertson all in Game 1. But I think that collective of the bullpen, just the pitching staff in general. Okay, you get down 5-0. They stick with him, and he was able to settle in finally. But the bullpen really, I think, was the big strength for the Phillies so far through game one. Now, game two, that's something they were talking about in pregame shows on MLB Network is if you're the Phillies, you have to be able to. This was what you needed to do is to steal a game on the road. Astros hadn't lost at home. They hadn't lost, period,
right
in the playoffs. And if even though you might stretch your bullpen a little bit thin right here, if you lose game two, you're still ahead by my count because you can still go back to Philadelphia. You get a day's rest, you get your bullpen a little bit of a rest there, and then you can come back out and have that home field advantage. So I think they're going to set themselves up a little bit for game two, but the pitching staff in general as a whole, Nola all the way down through the bullpen, all 5 different pitchers out of the bullpen they used last night. They were the real strength, I think, for the game one win.
Without a doubt. And I think, you look at it for what it is. The Astros had the best bullpen in baseball all year long. And they had guys who, they could be starters on other teams. And they were just that deep at the position. Whereas the Phillies, I believe they ranked 23rd overall with a bullpen. And it not a great ERA. I believe the ERA was like above 4.5 something. It was not good. It was not good, but they really did well. They really capitalized well. And I think one of the biggest things right now moving forward is really understanding what are you going to get out of your 3-5 guys in the rotation? Because somebody needs to stretch it. Somebody, whether it's Noah Syndergaard or whoever, somebody needs to stretch this to give these guys a break. Because like we said earlier, is one of those conversations to where Houston's sitting back and Dusty's sitting back right now. And he's like, that's fine. I got 7 other guys just sitting in the bullpen that are ready to go right now. And that may be an over exaggeration, but it's definitely a realistic thing to where it's like, not only do they have the great pitching rotation to go deep in innings if they wanted to, but it's also a conversation to where, their bullpen, they can use a plethora of guys. So I think right now the big conversation for Philly outside of Wheeler and Nola is really what are the other guys going to give you? And they've had a couple guys who have really emerged themselves as great quality starters in the playoffs so far. His name's escaping me right now, but he's had an amazing couple of series throughout the season so far in the playoffs. And, it's great to see. It's great to see. And I think it's one of those conversations to where, they really do need to back them up offensively. And I think, it did come a little bit later. So it was a second, third round go for Verlander when guys really started knocking it in. It was Schwarber and Castellanos that did it. So I'm just saying, Craig, I said it was going to be my Cubs brothers that did it. And who ended the game other than Dave Robertson, which was just a beautiful thing as well. Another former Cub. I'm just saying, that's why I wore the hat today. That's why we're rocking it, because the Cubs are in the World Series, baby. Just like last year, Jock, Jorge. I mean, come on. There's a recipe to this. There's a recipe to this, Craig. But I do think they really do need to get a lot more out of Bryce Harper. I love Bryce, and I know it was the first game he's really had in the World Series, which you mentioned, and I think that is to really just hit on that really quick, not to get too off topic, but I kind of mentioned it in one of the morning shows that I think you missed that one, but it's so crazy to me when you look at the NHL, Patrick Kane, Crosby, all these guys, they have cups. When you look at the NFL, you look at Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, they all have rings. When you look at the NBA, Giannis, Curry, LeBron, Kawhi, everybody has rings. You look at the MLB, Mike Trout hasn't even sniffed a World Series appearance, nonetheless the playoffs. And then you look at Bryce Harper, this was the first time he even made it to the NLCS, nonetheless the World Series. So the fact that we have somebody who is the face of baseball actually potentially getting a World Series championship this year, I think it's so huge. It is so huge. And I want one for Dusty as well. I got mad love for Dusty. But it's also, respectfully, it's also fuck Houston. So, I mean, I'm not rocking with those guys. The fan base is great. Jay McLovin is great, and a lot of the players like Kyle Tucker are dogs that had nothing to do with 2017. But I refuse to support anything that comes out of those guys and Jose Altuve and Bregman. But yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be great, and I do want to talk to you really quick before we get into the game. Nick Castellanos, catch of his career last night.
Yeah, that's something that.
I personally did not expect him catching that ball.
Nope, I didn't either. That's something that was always kind of a question mark for him, is his defense. And even going back to his early days in Detroit.
Right.
But I mean, it was great to see him because I want to see Castellanos get a ring. I want to see Bryce Harper get a ring, Schwarber.
Mm,
Um, but for him to kind of get a little back on track, he had a hit in an RBI last night. But that defensive sliding catch to basically save the game like
mm.
that was huge. That's got to feel good for him. And hopefully that helps with his confidence just in general. Maybe that extends to plays at the plate, but I don't know. I think it was great for him to actually be able to flash some leather for once.
Right.
It probably felt nice.
It was great. And, it really just, and I'm not saying we're going to consistently be seeing this from Castellanos in the outfield, but it takes away a lot of questions. There's a lot of questions about, Bryce's health and him not being able to go back out there and him having the DH, and having Schwarber out there is always kind of a concern, especially with the knee issues he's been going through. And obviously the knee issues he's had for quite a few years now. And having Nick, it's really not a great defensive outfield. It's really not. And that, I couldn't hit water if I fell off a boat. So priding myself on defense in the outfield was always something I love seeing. And that is not typically what you see from Phillies. So I think that's something that, getting that flash and understanding this is the biggest stage. And this is one of those moments, where you have to make that play. And he laid it all out, and he lived or died by it. And if he wouldn't have caught it, he would have been the biggest villain in Philly this morning. And if you catch it, you're the biggest hero, just like Jimmy Butler in the playoffs last year. You live or die by the three. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun seeing Nick at that moment. And I know, as a guy from Michigan, I know you're loving it too, because, he definitely earned this spot.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he did. I think that one of my thoughts going into this series, we talked about it on the morning show on ASAP in the morning, 10 a.m. Monday through Friday on ASAP Network. We've talking a little bit about what does Philly need to do to have a chance, because obviously a lot of people counting them out because Houston is just on paper they're so good in all facets of the game. And I think one of the things that we needed to see from the Phillies was everybody but Bryce Harper needs to show something. And you did. You got Reese Hoskins got a hit, Schwarber got a hit, Real Muto had the clinching home run. Like to have him get 2 hits, 3 RBIs, like that's what you needed to see. You needed to see that supporting cast. And you had a couple who Schwarber, Real Muto, and Bryce Harper and Stott all drew walks.
Right.
Like that's big. Like that's how you need to beat the Astros, is you need to kind of play their game a little bit and get guys on base, however, in any way possible, and set guys up like Schwarber, Real Muto, Harper, so that way they can clear the bases.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was a big key that they needed to see, and we saw it in game 1. How much they can sustain that, because they got Framber Valdez tonight. They're up against. So far they're showing in the postseason he's had 2 starts so far. But yeah, I think game 1 you got what you needed out of your supporting cast, and if that continues into game 2 to try to steal a second game, like great. But I think that's where for the Phillies, you've got to hope that supporting cast can continue to produce.
Without a doubt. And I think, one of the big things, especially tonight, is Wheeler. Wheeler has been so impressive, and so has Valdez. I'm not taking anything away from either of them, but Wheeler specifically has just been insane. He went through insane lineups to get here. What they went through in Philly it was just phenomenal baseball, and he's really just been that dude. So I think right now, if I'm Thompson, I really want to see him go 7-8 innings. I know that's a lot to ask, especially against this Astros offense, which is amazing. I'm not going to take anything away from them. They are outstanding. And Kyle Tucker, I kept telling people he is him. Like, Kyle Tucker is the future of Astros baseball, whether you believe it or not. But he is a stud. And last night, I believe he went 3 for 4, or maybe he went 3 for 5. He had an outstanding game, and 2 home runs, not 1 but 2. Him and Dusty are chopping it up, laughing. I never see Dusty laughing in the dugout. So I was seeing Dusty laugh. I was like, what the fuck? But It was great to see. It was great to see nonetheless. And Wheeler definitely has to be on it. And, I hate giving him flowers, but Jose Altuve as well is one of those guys. I understand he's not going through it, or he's not performing the way you want him to right now. He's definitely going through it. But it's a conversation where you still have to take guys like that very seriously. And I think, I think Wheeler is the guy to be able to do that tonight, especially with an exhausted bullpen. I think you can definitely get a few innings out of him. But if he can't go, Craig, where it's going to be a big problem.
Yeah, I think that's something that the Phillies have to be very mindful of tonight is you used a lot of your bullpen last night, even if it was for just small, like one batter or three batters or whatever that was last night. I'm trying to bring it up, Vlad. I got too many damn tabs open. But for the Phillies, that's what you got to focus on. You got to hope Wheeler can go deep, at least 6 innings. I think if he can go at least 6 innings, that's going to be huge. It's gonna be really big for the Phillies, and if they can do that, I mean, I wouldn't say impossible, but how improbable is it? Schwarber's coming back. They're just starting off the game here. 1-1 Valdez to Schwarber. But how improbable would it be for the Phillies to go up 2-0 on the Astros, who had not lost a single game coming into the World Series? How big would that be for Philly going back home?
I think it's huge. I think it's huge, especially when you look at I mean this in like all respect to what they're about to face after Wheeler gets off the mound tonight. It's a very wishy-washy kind of rotation to where you really don't understand what you're going to get every single day. Noah Syndergaard, he's had moments where, hey, forget Jacob deGrom. Like Noah Syndergaard is the ace of this team, and he's also had moments where we've seen him on the Mets, or we've seen him on the Angels, or we've seen him wherever else he's been, and you kind of have that question of like, what is up with this guy? And after the arm injury, there's a lot of question marks about his ability to go deep into games and really just being able to be that guy, and with the control and the command that he kind of has been lacking ever since coming back. I believe it was Tommy John, wasn't it, Craig? He had Tommy John?
Yeah, I think so.
He sustained a huge elbow injury, but whether it was Tommy John or not, it's been a huge difference. So I think right now, really just understanding that, taking a 2-0 lead going into Philly with the Philly fan base, Dancing on My Own is screaming in the entire city right now. I mean, I'm not even just saying the stadium. The entire city is screaming this song. And Craig, I saw a lot of people upset about that. A lot of people are saying they stole that from the Red Sox, but who cares?
Who cares? It's like, so
Philly doesn't. So
yeah, I mean, Philly doesn't care. Like the coolest thing though that I saw was, one of the guys I follow who's a big Major League Baseball guy on Twitter. They're showing a video of, it's called Xfinity Live. It's like this big area of a bunch of bars right in the middle of Philadelphia's stadium. So like you got the Eagle Stadium, and you got Wells Fargo where the Sixers and Flyers play, and then you got Citizens Bank Park where the Phillies play, and that place is packed to the gills, and people are just going buck wild. I've had a chance to experience being there for an Eagles game.
Right.
I can't even imagine what it would be like for this environment right now in the World Series.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, it's something to. Personalities mean everything, and personalities are a huge reason to why I feel like this team is even here to begin with. You look at a guy like Nick, who Nick will die for you. Like, Nick is just one of those guys. He will die for his team. He believes in his team. Kyle Schwarber is one of those guys. You don't see fear in Kyle Schwarber. Kyle Schwarber understands the moment. He's been down in a 3-1 lead before. He's been a part of huge baseball teams in the Chicago Cubs organization. And it's so exciting to see a team like this really get after it. And the big name is JT and Bryce. I feel like JT and Bryce want it more than anybody. And that's really what it is. I mean, those guys deserve this. Those guys have been fighting for years, not only just with Philly, but also with Bryce in Washington. And let's talk about that. It's basically like a guy getting out of a prison sentence and coming home for the first time. Like, this is Bryce getting his second chance program. This is him wanting to actually make a career for himself. You have the MVPs, you have the Silver Sluggers, you have all these awards, you have the years, you have the money. I mean, there's only one thing left to do, and it's to cross it off the list. And just being there crosses something off the list. So you want to make that appearance to say you played on the biggest stage. but no
Yeah.
one wants to just go to the dance and stand on the wall. So I think that's a huge conversation right now. And Nola is a huge part of it too. You know, being here since 2000, I would say 7, 8, something like that. I mean, he's been around for a minute, and I think having the conversation right now that you could do it again, knowing you're at the back end of your career, I mean, it's a great feel good story. And let's talk about it, Craig. I want to ask you because I know my TVs went out, so anybody who thought we were going to cover the game, apparently we're not. Craig might do this, but
I got it right here. It's
I
right
have
here.
nothing. I have nothing. But Craig, for you right now, if you had to guess, and this is no slander, but where's Joe Girardi right now? Do you think he's watching the game?
Joe Girardi is, I think he's probably watching the game because I mean, he might be somewhere trying to get a TV deal at this point. Cause I'm trying to, we were talking about this on ASAP in the morning, and I can't think of a team right now that would look at Joe Girardi and go, yeah, that's the guy we want
Yeah,
to run our team. So I don't know, maybe he goes into TV or something, but I
yeah,
think he's watching, but you know he's salty. You know he's watching this salty right now. Like, this is the team this is the potential we could have had,
right.
but I don't know if it was I didn't watch a ton of the early part of
I
the
felt like it
Phillies
was
season.
Joe.
What's that?
Personally, myself, I felt like Joe was such a huge part of that, and I did feel that. And it was one of those things where it's like I felt like it was a how do you say it? Like, I don't want to like slander anybody because I do think he's a great manager. I think he's good at what he does. Obviously, he's in the MLB, or he was in the MLB, so you know you got to give him his flowers. But sometimes I feel like when you talk to guys, you talk to them in a certain way. And I feel like you can't talk to everybody the same way. I feel like you can't baby guys like this is college or like this is high school. And that's kind of the vibe I got off of Joe. Joe kind of gives you that persona of, you know, that military type kind of atmosphere. And you're playing 162 games from April all the way to November. And that's if you make it to the playoffs. So, you know, it's a very long, strenuous season. And I feel like sometimes the same monologues, the same hype speeches, they just get old. And we had the same conversation, you and I, before about Joe Madden. Instead of the military style, it was the I've gone to Woodstock every single year since 1972 kind of thing. And it's laid back.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you're losing 10 games in 10 games in a row, the same old spiels get old. You need to start making adjustments. You need to start actually doing something to help your ball club. And, you know, there was a big thing as well, too. You and I talked about it earlier in the year. Bryce's health was huge, and everybody else kind of getting banged up was huge. And, you know, you can't really fix those things. That's not something he can really control. But I definitely think Thompson, man, he holds guys accountable, and he's a great clubhouse guy. And I love everything he's been doing. If I'm them,
Mhm.
I move forward with them. I wouldn't go looking like they thought they were.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think you would do that either. You've gotta stick with what works. And clearly it's not like he stepped in at the end of the year at the trade deadline or something. He stepped in fairly early in the year and was able to help turn that franchise around and help get them to the playoffs and now the World Series. So I think you gotta stick with what works.
Without a
Um,
doubt.
yeah.
Without
Valdez is throwing a lot of breaking pitches right now.
Dude,
His
I'm so upset I can't watch this with you, bro. Like we literally planned this all day for everybody watching. Craig was like, "Yo, you want to do a live with me today?" Craig was like, "I'm gonna do this live. It'll be dope." I was like, "For sure." And then I get down here, and the TV's like not rocking with me whatsoever.
TV said no.
Yeah, TV was
Well,
like, "No."
one thing I will say already, we're only a couple batters in, but he's a I want to see how the second time through this lineup the Phillies are going to respond to Valdez, because Schwarber on the first at bat, he got
Strike.
himself into a 3-1 count and then hit a ground ball. Reese Hoskins drew himself a walk, and Real Muto it was an 0-2 hole, got him into a 2-2 count, but then he struck out swinging on another breaking pitch, another curveball. He's thrown, oh man, goodness, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's thrown 7 curveballs already in this game, 21 pitches. So he's throwing a decent dose of curveballs right now.
Mm-hmm. Man,
So I'd be interested to see how they do that the second time through.
I think it's just one of those things, one of the big things I feel like about the Phillies, and maybe, I'm not the biggest expert when it comes to analytics, but it's not a maybe, it's a fact. But it's one of those things where when you look at the team as a whole, it's a lot of boomer busts. It's a lot of boomer busts and a lot of guys who are just trying to go yard. And I feel like why they've been able to get into where the position they're in now, why they surprise so many people is because they've been so patient. And I felt like in game one, especially the first time around, you kind of talked about that too with Verlander. Like Verlander just had him. These guys were itching to get a hit off Verlander and really just pop off on him. The second time around, you really saw more patience, specifically, like you said, from Kyle Schwarber, really just taking his pitches. The first go around with Verlander, obviously he goes out with a K to lead off the game. That can't happen. Yeah. That cannot happen. So, you made up with it. Doritos, Logos, tacos for everyone, and that's perfectly fine. But it's something that I feel like, going into game two, especially with Valdez, who's kind of one of those guys that's going to make you hit groundouts. Like that's really his thing. And he's not going to kill you with strikeouts, but he's definitely going to kill you with making you put the ball in play. And especially with the shift and everything else, it's a big part of it.
Yeah, and Framber Valdez he's got a really good ground ball rate this year. And Harper, just to end the first inning, had a really loud line out to left field to the warning track on another breaking pitch. So I'm curious to see if that's something that Valdez is trying to really establish early. Like, hey, I'm gonna try to get their eyes moving, try to get them off balance, and then maybe come back, because the first two batters. He didn't throw any curveballs and he threw all fastballs and sinkers. So I think he's trying to get them, maybe get their eyes moving a little bit, and then kind of see what happens. But we're middle of the first right now. It's still 0-0, and they're in commercial break right now. So while they're doing that, we'll let you guys know about ASAP Network and all the social media platforms that ASAP is on. You can find us. We're live tonight on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, LinkedIn, and of course live on the Fox D app, Tiki Live, and Roku. You can find us on social media on YouTube, ASAP Sports Network, on Facebook at All Sports All Plays, on Twitter at ASAP Network 1, and on Twitch at ASAP Network. Hit the like, hit the sub, share button, and comment on the stream too. We want to hear y'all's picks for tonight's game. Being now in the bottom of the first, want to know do you think the Astros are gonna even it up 1-1? Phillies gonna take an unprecedented 2-0 lead going back home in a couple days for game 3. So let us know in the comments your thoughts. Who's gonna be the big player tonight? Astros, their lineup, they're rolling out pretty much the same lineup they did last night.
Yeah.
The only change for Philadelphia is Sosa is batting 9th, where he didn't bat. He wasn't in the lineup last night.
100%. Craig, who do you got tonight?
I think the Astros. I think part of it is the bullpen for the Phillies are going to come into play. But if Wheeler, like we mentioned at the top of the show, if Wheeler can deal and get into 6 innings or more, which they're showing right now, his postseason, in 4 starts he's gone at least 6 innings in all starts, and he's had 2 starts where he didn't give up any earned runs. So he's got a heavy dose of fastballs that he's going to be using. About half the time he used a 2-seam fastball. So this Astros team, when you got guys like Altuve right away, first pitch.
Mm-hmm.
First pitch, he's got to always turn it into a double.
I fucking hate Altuve.
Yeah, he's in there.
I hate Altuve so much.
so many people don't like Altuve.
No, not at all, bro. I hate him. Little no man. I don't care. But man, I think tonight, before we get into probably an Astros scoring in the first, I want to get my take before a run comes in, because the second a run comes in, they're gonna be like, nope, you're bullshitting. So tonight, I think I have Astros 7-3. I think it's going to be one of those nights where Philly kind of has to go back to the drawing board and really make adjustments. I think Wheeler deals. I truly do think Wheeler deals. I could see 5 or 6 innings by Wheeler. But I do think that bullpen, like you said, is going to be a huge part of it. And I think really, if we're being completely honest, Philly did not do well against the rest of the Houston Astros last night. They really capitalized on Verlander. But other than that, I mean, it was a tight ball game the rest of the way on both sides. So I think Philly really needs to learn how to make adjustments. But it's going to be interesting. And also the Blackhawks are up against the Sabres right now. So that's super.
Yeah. Michigan's got Michigan State in college football right now too. They started it about an hour ago.
That's crazy. That is crazy. I mean, that's one of those games. Craig, can I ask you something? Like, for real?
Yeah.
How big is that?
Oh, another base hit. Oh, this Altuve scores 1-0.
All right, see? Look at me. Look at me. I made it. Craig, look at us. We're
Altuve
here,
about walked to home plate. I mean, Pena got it right down the left field line. Wheeler threw a curveball, and that thing went right down the left field line. He was a stand-up double, and Altuve just like walked in.
Damn.
That's he didn't. It was a line drive right past Bohm. Bohm was a little bit. I don't know if he was positioned a little bit too far off the line or what, but he just snuck it right past him and went right to the wall.
That's awful.
All right, go with your question.
Oh, my bad. What was I even gonna say? Oh yeah, Michigan versus Michigan State. Like, how big, like in Michigan, is that for you? Like, because like for us, it's like, if the rare case that Northwestern plays Urbana, it's one of those things where like no one really cares. If you don't go there, no one cares.
I would say to Michigan State, it's probably one of the biggest rivalries of their season. That's a date that Michigan State circles on their calendar every year. For Michigan, it kind of depends because it's not the top rivalry. Ohio State's number 1.
Right.
Uh-oh. Alvarez to the wall, off the wall. Another run. 2-0 Astros.
See, look at us. Look, we're here.
You said 7-3.
I said 7-3. That's my prediction. You know what, Craig? Yep. I might bounce out of here in like a few minutes. I gotta fix this TV, and then but we gotta get in here, Craig, because I just can't. I can't not watch this. You know what I mean?
What's wrong with your TV?
It's just like I have the remote, and I was messing with it. I watched my language there. I was messing with it, and then it just went, and I was like, I haven't been able, because we've been live this whole time, so I haven't been able to like look and see like what it is, but it just blacked out on me, and I'm like, all right, well, there's that. I don't want you to have to get Jay McLovin in here where he's just gonna start screaming, Astros. He's just gonna go crazy.
I'd like to avoid that. I love Jay McLovin. I love how passionate he is.
Not on a World Series night.
That's something I think he's just got to watch that from the comfort of his own home
100%.
And just let him yell.
Yeah, soundproof room. It's gonna be perfectly fine. No, I got mad love. If you haven't checked out Jay McLovin, he does Unscripted on the ASAP network. He does amazing stuff, and that is one of the guys you will hear a raw opinion from. And I love every minute of Jay McLovin.
Yep. So here's a crazy thought here. You were mentioning about Wheeler's got to go 6 innings. He's got to be tough. He's only through the first 3 batters. He threw 4 pitches and he's given up 2 runs already.
It's just one of those days. And you know what it is too? We kind of talked about it earlier. Nola is Philly. Nola has proven everything to Philly. He's done everything for Philly. There isn't anything Philly has left, with Nola. So I think right now it's a conversation with Wheeler. This is the jitters. You're getting a lot of jitters. You're nervous. It's one of those things to where, it's your first time doing this at such a big stage. You're in Houston. I mean, it's literally the next day you're back at it. Houston's pissed, because Houston had so many opportunities yesterday to really get it going. I think they just capitalized very well early on, and it's unfortunate, but I still do think, I love that comment by Damien, by the way. I didn't mean to completely ignore it, but Damien, you've been on one lately, bro. I just kind of ignore your comments sometimes.
He's been on it.
He's been on one for sure. He's been ruffling my feathers, but I do think it is equivalent, like college baseball wise, it is, or college football wise, pardon me, to Cubs versus White Sox, or a Mets versus Yankees, Giants versus Jets. Like it's fun. Like that's where I was going with, like
Yeah.
Urbana versus Northwestern. No one, they're so far away from each other, no one cares. So it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, whatever. But like Cubs Sox, that's deep. That is
Yeah. Michigan, it's probably the second, I would say it's honestly the second or third biggest rivalry for Michigan. It's probably number 2, depending on
Go ahead, Craig. Talk your
Penn
stuff.
Penn
Tell
State's Penn
tell me
State's up
why
there,
you
but
don't care about Michigan State.
it's funny. It's funny you asked that. But the one thing about Michigan and Michigan State is it doesn't matter. Like, for instance, tonight, like Michigan State just scored at 7-3,
Mm,
and they're at Michigan. Like those two, when you get them together, even though Michigan State has one of the worst defenses in college football, take those records, throw it out the window when these two meet up, because
right.
it just doesn't matter. Even when Michigan State was really good going to the Rose Bowl and Michigan was going through their Rich Rod experiment, they still played tight most of the time. So it's probably like the second biggest rivalry for Michigan. And it's always fun because I got a lot of friends that went to Michigan State and they like talk smack to each other all
Without
the
a
time. Um, but yeah, I mean, for for Wheeler right now, he's got Tucker's at the plate, 2-1, and Alvarez is on second. Um, he hasn't thrown a ton of fastballs. He just threw his second fastball of the game. He just threw his second fastball of the game to Tucker, and he's in a 3-1 count.
That's crazy. I'm trying to lock in. Hey, Damien, you're the legend. You're a man, the legend himself of everything trolling. I need, what is it? Cracked screens. I need cracked streams. I need something right now where I
Crack
can watch
stream?
this on the laptop. Yeah, crack streams does not work for me. I don't know why. It always turns into just advertisements. But we're gonna see. We're gonna see. Craig.
Wow.
Craig, I will
Al-
be right back.
wow. All right.
I will be.
All right. While he's getting that set back up, Mike Hughes is trying to get his TV to work so he can help with this live reaction. But I was pretty surprising by Alvarez as a fly out to straight center field, and he tagged up and went to third. Terrible throw. Terrible throw into third. Thankfully, there was a backup there. Astros, the first team in the World Series history to start the game with 3 extra base hits. That's exactly the position you do not want to be in if you're the Phillies right now. You don't want to be in that. Yeah, I know you stole a game on the road already, but you don't want to be in that position to where you get, I mean, it's all, they're playing with house money right now. I think the Phillies are playing with house money right now. If you think otherwise, let me know in the comments here about how this game is going. But the Phillies already stole a game. We got a ground out to first to end the. Oh no, he dropped it. Oh, wow. Wow. Error at first base. It looks like he just couldn't scoop it. Sosa. It was a one hopper. Yeah. Hoskins just didn't scoop it. Wow. And that, kids, is why you always run it out to first base. Because Gurriel could have been out. I'm curious to see where they give the error here. Did I see the error? Oh, the error went to Sosa. That's a bit surprising to me. I don't think it was that terrible a throw. It wasn't really that bad of a throw. But Alvarez scores, so now it's 3-0 already in the first inning. That was a gutsy tag up by Alvarez. The previous play to that. Diaz has now gotten himself into a 2-0 count. I don't know. For somebody for somebody like Wheeler, is he back?
No, I'm watching it on TikTok Live. Shout out to TikTok. TikTok's one of the best apps in the game. I'm currently
You can do that on TikTok Live?
for now, until TikTok realizes this kid's doing it, but it's great. I'm watching a 5-year-old watching TikTok Live right now. That was
That's
crazy.
great.
By the way, this is why you always should be a great base runner in baseball. I actually did catch that.
Yeah. Always run it out, kids.
Always run it out. Don't be a jerk. Don't be a jerk.
So my surprise here is Zach Wheeler almost 50% of the time throws fastballs.
Right.
He's thrown legitimately 2 so far in 16 pitches.
That's one of the big things, though, you need to look at and you need to take into consideration. An offense like Houston is looking for that. They are, I promise you, 50% is on one of their whiteboards in the clubhouse right now, that he throws 50% fastballs. And that's so huge, especially in a guy's arsenal like that for Wheeler. They know he relies on it. So for him to try to switch it up, I also feel like it's a great situation when it works. If you can really have your breaking balls or your off-speed pitches really just be that and be able to capitalize on it. I mean, he could have came out of the gate and just thrown a no-hitter tonight. But obviously, like you said, there's a reason you throw 50% fastballs. And a big part of that is he relies on that athleticism. I'm seeing it right now. You're at the 92s. I mean, that's not him. We know that's not him. So, really just seeing it for what it is, understanding that, he tried something. And now you're down, what, 3-0? Is it 2-0? Yeah, it's 2-0.
It's 3-0 because it's 3-0 because Sosa had that error and Alvarez scored.
Right. Okay, yeah. So this kid that I'm also, shout out to the 5-year-old on TikTok, but he's not showing the score. So if you're watching this, fix it.
I think here, I'm gonna put it in the private chat. I think I got something for you here.
Oh yeah, you think you got something for me, Craig?
This might help out.
This might help out.
Here you go. Try that.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get in here. We're gonna
try that. That's what if I can't watch Wheeler got Diaz to strike out to end the first. So that's, I mean, if you're Wheeler, that's big to knock your first strikeout. You got the first inning out of the way. You gave up 3 runs. All right, brush it off. Let's see what the Phillies offense can do to help them out.
His fastball there. We saw one 97 miles an hour. We've talked about his uptick in velocity since he got in.
Yeah. I know he's trying not to get us kicked off the air right now. Thank God this game is on tonight. Didn't want to watch Jake Paul, Anderson Silva. Actually, I think Gonzo is doing a live stream watching that right now. Live reaction to that fight, I think. Or his might be a UFC one. I'm not sure. I know it was streaming on before we were on. But
all right, let's get it, baby.
There he is. There he is.
Oh man, that was like, oh shit.
Like,
they're on to me. They're hearing.
Here we go.
Oh man, commercial break, right? Yeah.
Yeah, commercial break.
Right, let's go, Craig.
Hey, sir.
I'm here. I'm ready. I got a Halloween party I'm supposed to attend tonight. Craig, you want to know the truth? You want to know the cold, hard truth since we're in a commercial break? I feel like every commercial break we should tell each other a secret. All right. So tonight, I thought you were asking me to do a pregame prediction show, and now I'm sitting here with you for the next 4.5 hours. But I'm with it. I'm excited. So yeah.
When we first pitched this thing, and that's when I sent you the example of like, hey, this is kind of what I see.
Which was
and you're like, oh yeah, let's do that. And I was like, okay, I have to, whatever day we pick, I got to carve out like 4 hours.
That's why I was like, why can't we just do this every night? And then he was like, cause bro, and I guess we were on miscommunication, but that's the beauty of Craig and I. If you want to see more of Craig and I, ASAP in the morning. Craig, throw up the screen.
Oh, I'm doing it right now. There you go.
ASAP in the morning, every single day at ASAP Sports Network on YouTube, All Sports, All Plays on Facebook, ASAP Network 1, because ASAP Network Original was taken on Twitter, and ASAP Network on Twitch. That's a lie, by the way. I don't know if it was. It might have not been. But yeah, that's where you could find us. We're going to do this every commercial break. We're just platforming it, getting it out there. We got Mike on the mic, always promoting it. Mike on TikTok. You can go on Cubs.Mike. We're trending right now, but we also got shadow banned for making fun of a kid. So, we're pretty consistent until we get shadow banned. But You could always check us out there. Craig, pop out your stuff real quick, brother, because I want the people to know.
Absolutely. Well, you can find me, my handles right here, my Twitter handle at CJ Campbell 30. I'm working on some other projects as well, but I do a lot with ASAP in the morning here. And I have another one that's going to be a Detroit paced podcast coming up hopefully soon. I got to get my work schedule's got to chill the F out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Speaking, Craig, of chilling the F out. So yesterday, I logged into Twitter and it notified me to let me know that somebody is back on Twitter and it is somebody you may know and you should follow him. And I said, who is it? So I was like, what's this?
I got my phone ready.
I clicked it and it said Patouche 45. And I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way they let the Don back on Twitter. And I lost my mind. They let the Don back on Twitter. And I was like, wow. But hey, this isn't a politics show. I'm just saying I didn't feel, Craig, personally, as a 22-year-old male in the city of Chicago, that one, that is someone I may know, and that two, that I cared. So I don't appreciate Twitter letting me know that. I felt like it was a little out of pocket.
I agree. I'm with that a little bit. I think I don't want to get too deep down that rabbit hole too.
I was just like, what?
But yeah, it does say archived next to the name. So, but they're allowing somebody back on Twitter, which is very interesting.
Very interesting.
I know this is a little off track. Have you seen this Primo situation in San Antonio?
Yeah, I've heard different stories. So I'm not going to sit here and I'm not going to say which is the truth. Some of it said it was a mental aspect where he just needed to step away. But I've also heard reports saying that he exposed himself in front of several women. And there's several proven accounts of that. Now, I don't know if that's in person or via social media or like Snapchat or whatever, because we all been there. But it's solicited and unsolicited are two very different conversations. Consent and non-consensual are very two different conversations. So it's something where it's an unfortunate circumstance of a young man who just made bad mistakes in life, and that's not an excuse. I'm not going to sit here and say it's an excuse, but I mean it's definitely unfortunate that he made the choices that he made if those allegations are true.
Yeah, that's what I've seen as well. Is the exposing to multiple women. Obviously, it was very weird that it just all of a sudden everything that was relevant to him was scrubbed from websites. They just made real quick work of it, which of course that raises a lot of eyebrows because you're wondering, like, okay, did he like murder somebody? Like, what happened?
Yeah, it was quiet for a couple of hours where it was just like no one knew anything, man.
Yeah.
It was weird. It was mad weird. Hey, wait, I have the game on. Why am I staring at Craig? I just love seeing Craig. I just love me some Craig.
I guess so. I'm trying to edit. We're doing a lot of this stuff on the fly because we don't have we don't have a lot of the great production capacity of somebody like a John Boy Media who does this kind of stuff too.
Right. Now, Craig, I do want to ask you something. It's a little off topic, but since we're going into the top of the second right now, Valdez with the first, you did not just call that a ball. I guess he called it a ball. But Valdez has this little slit in his eyebrow, and I wanted your take on that. How do you feel about that? You think that's hard, or you don't think that's hard?
I mean, there's a lot of style choices that I'm just, hey, maybe you feel like that's that's something that goes hard for you. I think I'm beyond the point in age where I'm like, hey, to each your own, man. That's See, if it's not for me, it's not for me.
That's where I'm at, and I'm 22. But I'll tell you why that's where I'm at with it. See, if you see these beautiful caterpillars, I feel like if I had a slit, it would just not look great. Just because obviously I have the thickest eyebrows on the ASAP network. No, you know what? I take that back. Gonzo gives me a run for my money. But I think top two for sure. But yeah, I think some guys can pull it off, and then there's guys like me who just really can't. Valdez is really losing control right now on this at bat.
Yeah, he had gotten Bowman to a 2-2 count and then threw back-to-back curveballs in the dirt
Mm.
to walk Bohm. So now Segura comes up and then comes right back with a curveball, hits it foul, and then there was a foul tip. So now he's already quickly down the count 0-2.
Right, and you could definitely see the frustration on his face. I mean, he looks, especially with the Bone one. I mean, it's one of those things right now where he's feeling that pressure, and I mean, hey, I know it must be hot there because these guys are sweating. These guys are sweating their asses off. So I don't know if that takes into account the amount of control you have on the ball, or not. But it's definitely crazy down in Houston right now.
Yeah, so far Framber Valdez, and he just struck out Segura looking. Looks like it was on a curveball.
Man, Craig's ahead.
I'm about to see it. I think no, I'm only a couple seconds behind this. Oh no, I'm like a minute behind. Okay.
Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
But Framber Valdez has got he threw 35 pitches so far. In the top of the second inning, 3 strikeouts, 2 walks.
Craig, what is this, bro? What chat did you, what link did you just give me, bro? Everybody in the comments just keeps saying meow, and I don't get it. I think I missed something.
So there's a
everyone keeps saying pool and meow.
That website, if you can actually get rid of the chat so you don't see it, or you mute the notifications so you don't have to see it.
Yeah. I'm rocking with it. It's kind of funny.
Are you Damon? You're asking where the hell is our stream going? We're doing live reactions to the World Series. That's where we're going right now.
We're there. We're on our way to,
because we legally cannot show you the game while we're here.
I mean, we could. It would just be the last time you saw us for probably a month. We'll see you around Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that would be the last time you would see us on streaming live for a long time.
Yeah, 100%. But you know what I will say? I'm not telling anybody to do it. I'm just saying, when guys go live, their viewership and their following goes up so high if it really clicks. If it really like the kid on TikTok right now has like 50,000 people watching his live right now, and he's got like 20 followers. Like that is whether he gets banned or not tonight, it is prime hours for him. So hopefully I'm not the one that tricked him out, but we'll see.
Hopefully not, but yeah, that's so TikTok to me is like it's so weird how you have somebody that gets a ton of views and then they have like no followers. It's just so I don't understand how that conversion rate works.
Right. So for me personally, like, so guys that don't know, Cubs.Mike on TikTok, always promoting it. I usually change my name like every other month though, so don't quote me. Always ask me. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know what the next one's gonna be. But the big thing for me, I could read you my viewership right now for the last 4 or 5 videos. It's crazy. So I have at this very moment. Right now, we're sitting at 5,554 followers, about to hit 5,555. But today we have 2,004 videos on the one. And here's where it gets a little crazy, Craig. All right, so I want you to bear with me. We have 256 views on the other. And then out of left field, we have 16,000 on the third one I posted today. So it's weird. We only have 5,000 followers, 5,500 followers, but 16,000 people see it. There's one video I have that got over 100,000, 700,000. It's crazy. It's a lot of hashtagging and a lot of what just pumps out into the For You page. And when one hits, it'll hit for weeks, months even.
I would super chat y'all right now. You actually can, Damian. You can support us with stars on Facebook. I know you watch on YouTube, and I appreciate that because YouTube is a platform that we're trying to really grow at ASAP right now because you could organically grow a lot better on YouTube than you can on almost any other platform. It's still got that possibility. But if you do want to help ASAP Network, you can send stars on Facebook.
100%.
Another little shameless plug.
Craig, you live your life, sir. Tomorrow we can all wake up and our legs could fall off. So you say what you want to say. That's a saying I heard a kid tell me one time, and I forgot where I was. He just told me that, and I was just like, all right. He was like, tomorrow your legs could be gone, and I was like, man, I don't know who raised you, but they're half right, I guess. But
they're half right.
I was like, I mean, it's a valid point. Almost didn't come back to the stream too. I was going to get my charger, and my mom watched me almost fall down the stairs, and she was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh, oh." You know when you catch it, Craig, you're like, "Oh." Yeah. I was like,
catch yourself.
You're like, all right, for sure. Dope. It's dope, man. This is gonna be a good game, though. I feel like. I mean, really, Valdez. I think you said it, didn't you? You said you want to see how Philly looks in the second go around with Valdez tonight.
Yeah.
And the way it's looking, I mean, I'm super excited to see the second go around. I think it's gonna be great. Meows in chat once again. That's super exciting. Always fun to see that.
So the one thing about that that place that you're watching at the moment is you have to. You put it on I put mine on a second screen, and then I don't touch it because as soon as you like click anything else near that, pop-ups come up.
Oh yeah, that's why it took me a little bit to mute it, because I had to get through the 12,000 pop-up.
Yep. But if you have a second screen and you can put it on there and then full screen it and then just let it sit, you can watch the entirety of a game.
You said the Bulls are playing tonight? Damien said the Bulls. Are they playing?
I think so. Yeah, they're playing. I don't know.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
you know what, Damien? That's fine, Damien. Don't even. We're watching the fucking World Series.
We're watching the World Series right now.
Sorry, I didn't mean 44-30 Philly. So yeah, and my buddy even said, "Let's go to the game." Joel Embiid. No, I love Joel Embiid. I'm not going to watch him against my team, because then I'm just gonna get mad.
I wanted to watch. I don't live up in Michigan anymore currently, but I wanted last night. They brought the Teal back in Detroit.
Really?
They brought the Teal back, and they were playing the Hawks, and they did the court and everything. It was nostalgia like crazy.
Oh wait, Craig, I have beef with you, sir. Hold on.
Uh-oh.
I do have beef with you. I had a parlay last night, and you jerk.
What did you pick the Pistons to cover?
No, I didn't. But what was the score?
Oh.
I think I had the Hawks winning by like 7 to 15 points. And then yeah, what the fuck, Craig? 112 to 136?
The Pistons don't play defense.
Was Ivy playing?
Ivy did play. He had the flu, so he didn't play a ton of minutes. But Cade Cunningham had a career high 35, and he should have had 45. But the referees in the NBA, like, I don't know who you hire, but you got to change who you hire, because that was an awfully refereed game. It was bad.
100%. All right, so we're in the bottom of the second right now. Obviously, Craig is probably a lot more ahead of me than I am, but Wheeler is, again, throwing a lot of balls right now. So, I mean, it's Craig, where are we at right now? 0 out still?
Yeah, so it's bottom of the second. So on my stream right now, McCormick's got a full count, but he's about to get walked right here.
Okay, wait, Craig, are we on the same page? He just got walked.
Yeah, that's what I see right now.
So we're both watching the same stream.
We're on, yeah. So I'm watching through YouTube TV.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm watching through YouTube TV, but I have the game track stuff through CBS on my other screen here, so I can see like what pitches are being thrown, and I can see pitch counts and all that kind of stuff.
I think I have YouTube TV actually. YouTube TV.
It's not bad.
No,
it's not bad.
It's pretty solid, to be honest. I like YouTube TV. I just feel like sometimes it'll be like, so I watch my niece a lot over at my sister's, and it'll be like 7 a.m, and not a lot of options at 7 a.m. on YouTube TV. Not a lot.
Nope.
Ridiculousness, and
nice
that's
pitch.
Really it. It's a great pitch.
This is, I mean, I remember last night when they're in crunch time. And I think it was the bottom of the 10th, and you had, who did they get out? Was it Diaz? Yeah, it was Diaz. So Diaz is up. He's trying to like lean over the plate to get hit so he can get on base. But the very next guy was McCormick. And it's like,
Right.
if you let Diaz get on base, you got McCormick, Maldonado, Altuve. It's like, you got to get Diaz out. Like, that's
Without a
the guy
doubt.
you got to get. What's that?
Without a doubt. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
definitely like it's one of those like I am so screwed if I don't get out of this kind of
They
throws.
they don't have a weak spot in their lineup.
Not at all. Not at all. I think the weak spot is Kyle Tucker, and that screams how good your lineup is. Is like
Yeah.
it's a kid and he's great. So I mean, all power to him. They just continue to pump out stars.
Yeah. So Wheeler's thrown back-to-back sinkers, 0-2 count. Ooh, nasty curveball. He got Maldonado looking away. Struck him out.
Damn, I'm so happy you and I are on the same like wave right now when it comes to like this, because I hate when guys are doing. You ever watch one of those live streams and like they're both like off?
Yeah.
It's like one guy's like super pumped and the other one's like, "What happened?"
We're like within seconds of each other, which
Right.
it works out.
Jose Altuve, 1-for-1 tonight. First pitch by Wheeler. Wow, pop up the right field. Here comes Nicky getting called off though. Wow. And I ain't gonna lie, Craig. I wouldn't let somebody call me off like that, but that's just me personally. But
So in that position, who's at second right now? That's not Segura?
Yeah.
That's a judgment call. I think that's the right fielder because that's
the right fielder. But I think that's understanding your personnel as well. Of like, okay, mate. Not to say Nick can't make that catch, but it's like, I got it. Don't even worry about it.
Yeah. It's like, I got it.
I remember we used to have Jorge Soler in right field and Javi Baez or Addison Russell or whoever. They'd be like, it's all good, bro. Just don't even, it's fine. just stand there.
Speaking of Javi Baez, do you want him back?
No.
Do you want him back? He's
cool.
Good Lord.
People. Didn't he? Hey, home run leader of the year for y'all though, right? 15.
17.
Wow.
You know he had more errors on base than he did home runs?
On base? He had
more throwing errors than he did.
He had more throwing errors. I was like, what did he do? Get caught napping every time? But yeah,
he had more errors than he did home runs.
That's Javi, man. I mean, Javi's one of those guys who, before anything, he's gonna get the throw off. Like he does not care if his feet are set. He does not care if it's the right play. He's going to whip that hoe. I mean,
okay.
Craig, I have a commercial right now. I don't know.
That looked, I'm a couple seconds behind, but that hit looked a little bit nastier than it actually ended up being.
100%. But I think, going into the third right now, Craig, this is fun. We're having fun. I'm want to see what kind of chair I got right now, Craig? I'm not.
Yeah, what you got?
I'm not as set up as you. That's for Black Friday. Right now, we're rocking.
That's what I did. I got this. There you go.
We're rocking with the folding chair right now, baby. This folding chair is my best friend, though. I swear. Yeah, this folding chair and I have been through a lot, Craig. I love this chair.
That was my that was part of my setup. So when I got into podcasting a couple years ago,
say podcast.
What's that?
Say that again.
Podcasting?
Okay.
Why did I say it weird?
Yeah, it was weird. You said it sounded like Canadian. It was podcasting.
Well, yeah, I mean I'm a Michigander, so that sometimes comes out.
No, I liked it. I rocked with it. I want more Canadian Craig. I need that more on the morning show.
Canadian Craig, yeah.
Canadian Craig.
If only I were actually Canadian.
No, that would be amazing. But you know what? Who can tell you you're not? You know what I mean? Who's gonna tell you you're not? Damien's gonna come in here and tell you, oh, I know he's not. No. I just wouldn't go live on your Facebook because then your friends are gonna be like, what the fuck? Damn, neither the Piston nor the Lions can play defense. That's sad. Oh, well, thank God I'm not a Detroit fan. Damien, you're a Chicago fan. We're not too far off. I'd be smooth. Our entire season relies on Lonzo Ball's meniscus. So I think just relax, chill out on that one. We're about to play Michael Parsons on Sunday. So definitely won't be watching the Bears game tomorrow.
definitely, yeah, I would not. But I mean, I'm trying to think like the game, the game that the Lions played against the Cowboys last weekend. It wasn't that bad. Like the Lions outplayed them, and if there's something that the Bears can do to keep that game close, and it's run the football. Like if you don't,
Right.
Dak Prescott is, Dak Prescott. So
Which is so crazy to me that we're
yeah,
at that point. Because like when Dak, let's backtrack it around, let's say Thanksgiving 2016, give or take. Dak Prescott was that guy. Dak Prescott was the
yeah,
guy everybody was like, yo, this is the future, like the future of the Dallas Cowboys at least. Sosa's up to bat right now, 2 for 4 on what was that, yesterday? 2 for 4 yet? No.
no, that wasn't yesterday.
What did he say? 2 for 4 with 2
Might
RBI.
be might be postseason.
Oh, okay.
Might
Really?
be postseason.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I haven't seen him a
Yeah,
lot.
Sosa didn't start last night.
Right. I
He
didn't even
came
see him.
in he came in to play third base, but he didn't get in at bat.
Right,
So
yeah, I didn't even see, I was gonna say I didn't even see him get across the plate. So yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Sosa's one of those guys. He's a platoon guy. He's really good at really just seeing the ball at times. I wouldn't say he could put the ball in place, but there's my guy. There's Marsh. God, I love Marsh. Marsh
How
is,
about this? Framber Valdez has thrown 4 straight curveballs to Sosa. He's not throwing him fastball.
I think that's the idea though. Is like this guy, and that's why Sosa doesn't play every day. You know that you can do that with the guy. Like you're not even going to throw 2 curveballs in a row to Bryce Harper, and that's just the reality. But a guy like Sosa, I mean, I wouldn't do it 5 times, but I definitely think you can get away with kind of throwing your off speed stuff to kind of see what he can do because this guy can't hit. And you know what? Now that I say that, he's probably going to have an amazing at bat. But
No, I think, is this the pitch right here? I think he strikes out.
see, I'm just looking at Thompson right now. There's another curveball. That is
That's
insane.
another curveball. Yeah.
5 straight curveballs, 81 mile an hour in the dirt. That is crazy. Craig, I'm so happy. You don't have no idea. Like I'm sure you do have an idea that we are on the same page right now. Like
Yeah.
it is a beautiful. What Craig and I are
So-
doing right now, ladies and gentlemen, is beautiful.
Yeah.
Another curveball. Jesus. Dude, is this real
There
life?
he goes. That's the first non-curveball he threw. Sinker. It was a sinker up
It was
and
a
away
sinker?
at
Okay, but
96.
Craig, tell me that didn't curve.
It did.
It
That's what
curved.
I'm saying. That I could not. That's got to be the hardest thing ever to stand in that box and to see pitches that are in the
Right.
low 80s, high 70s, and then all of a sudden 96, and it's
Right.
got nasty movement.
Trying to decipher that too, and not a lot of people comprehend it for guys who really haven't played the game. I only played it at a high school level, but understanding, especially when guys throw heat. My guy, shout out Scott Gates. He throws like 88 something miles an hour, and by the time his hand touches his ear, you need to already be in motion, and down goes Sosa right there on a K. But to that, kind of having that conversation and understanding that some guys just can't decipher what a pitch is. And I think that's really where Valdez was with this. Is Sosa's not that guy who's going to be able to understand, what's really being thrown at him. So you have the luxury of being able to do so.
The other nasty part about Valdez is with Schwarber up right now, he's already got him in an 0-2 hole. His curveball right now looks like his cutter. And that is, I mean, that's completely different movement.
It's insane.
But it's insane that coming out of his hand, they'll at least in this at bat, they look the same. Like, how do you decipher that in that quick of a time frame?
I think that's the conversation, is you really don't. I mean, half of this sport is a guessing game. I will say right here, Schwarber's going to hit a bomb. I just believe it. But, I'm seeing way too many inside curves from him right now.
And this is what we're talking about at the first inning is I want to see like the first sequence of getting Schwarber got himself in a 3-1 count and he hit a ground ball to shortstop. And like now the second time through, what does Valdez do to adjust? Or does he go back to the well, but does he go back too much and Philly pounces?
Right, 100%. I also think the officiating of this game is awful so far. So should definitely be a 2-1 count right now.
So
but
check this out. They got it on the screen right now. Framber Valdez against lefties, 188 with 1 home run. Against righties, he's given up 10 home runs, but only a 230 average.
Right, 100%. I think, and that's the tricky part, especially with a Schwarber and a Bryce Harper and a guy who's streaky, kind of like Castellanos. Is like, you really don't know what you're going to get out of these at bats, is because this guy is just elite when it comes to this. And you're looking at this pitch right here by Schwarber, and it's going nowhere. It's really interesting to see this kid really put in some work. But right now is a 3-2 count. Schwarber fought his way back. Definitely should have just took his bases, but hey, that's
he's got great vision, man. Like he's got great vision. Oh, nothing too crazy, but he got a single, so Schwarber's on.
Okay, so now I'm a little bit later than you.
Oh, you're a little bit behind now.
A little bit behind on that, but we still got Schwarby up. But it's all right. We're gonna get back to it, Craig. It comes back around. But it's great to really see these guys do this, man. I mean, I think, and I just got to the Schwarber one. No, I didn't. What the fuck is going on? Yo, this is fake news, Craig. They're just showing me the same pitch over and over.
Do you got to refresh it just in case?
Nah, I think it's solid. Let me see. There it goes. Wow, that was like a whole minute. Damn, it sucks. Let me refresh this. I love when Schwarber thinks he's going for 2. Like, no.
He got out there like he was going to go for 2.
Like he was about to do something.
No way you're getting that.
Get your ass back at first. You ain't going. Okay, awesome.
All right, so Rhys Hoskins is up, 0-1 count, drew a walk. Ooh. Valdez is going back to that well with the curveball.
Mm-hmm.
He got Rhys Hoskins right there on an 82-mile-an-hour curveball down in the zone. Oh, Hoskins didn't have a chance.
Nah, not at all.
That's Valdez's 5th strikeout of the night.
Jesus. Where was that for my parlay last night? Justin Verlander? Jesus. You know what bothers me, Craig? I don't understand why it's a thing. Why is 5.5 or just a half a thing on sports betting? Because I've lost so many times by just needing half a strikeout. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know how you have half a strikeout.
So the reason they do that, the reason they put the half in is so you can't push your bets.
Right.
You got to pick one or the other.
It's to kill me.
That's how that goes.
That's what it is. It's to frustrate me. They do
it. Speaking of that, so Real Muto comes up, 2 outs. First pitch swinging, ground out to third. Yep.
In the 3rd inning.
Ground out to 3rd.
Not to end the 3rd inning, but to end the top of the 3rd.
End the top of the 3rd. So speaking of sports betting, so I was in conversation. I'm in conversation with Fanatics right now.
About what?
Working on a fun project for them.
That would be sick.
It's involving gambling. It's pretty cool.
I think that would be absolutely insane. I'll tell you what, Craig, we are not sponsored by Fanatics, but Fanatics, I spend more time when I'm in class. I am in my college classroom. I spend more time on my laptop or my phone on Fanatics than I am on Brightspace or any other thing I'm supposed to be doing in my class. Fanatics, bro, is like, I could have a field day on there, man. It is so much fun.
There it goes. All right. I was trying to get that up. There. All right.
Oh man, I'm sleepy, Craig. Let's end the live. No.
It's like let's go to bed.
Let's go to bed. There ain't shit going on.
Ain't nothing going on right now. Outside of that first inning, it's been pretty quiet.
100%. I do still think them what 4 other runs are coming though, Craigie. Best believe.
Yeah, I mean, if you think about it though, in the first game, Houston got 2 runs in the second, 3 runs in the third, and then right after that, it was Philly got 3 and then 2 in the 4th and the 5th. So innings like 6th through 9th innings last night. all scoreless. But all right, so watching Valdez out there right now, and he doesn't do it as bad, but I gotta ask. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday about watching Luis Garcia on the mound and the whole movement. I see your face already. You see all the movement that goes on. How does he not get called for a balk? His first step is towards the plate.
Because
and then he brings it back and rocks his feet and his arms.
Well, Craig, the Mike Hughes answer to that is that in order for there to be a balk being called, there needs to be great officiating. And in the MLB, the officiating that there is the officiating that there is. And I'm going to leave it like that in order to not mess up any MLB creator content possibilities or anything else with the ASAP network. But I think everybody knows how I feel about that. Robo umps are coming, and I am so excited about it. But it's something I really do think, guys are continuing to just be insane with the way they pitch. I think a great one too, Frankie the Yankee, and I always joke about it. Nestor is hilarious. Nestor will literally balk and then look at you, laugh, and then throw the pitch. And it's like, bro, like what are we talking about? Like it's insane to me to see these guys' deliveries really become kind of a part of their game. And one for me, like as someone who's tried pitching before, obviously I will never claim myself to be one, but understanding that motion that goes with it, I don't understand how you can be doing so many different things and then still get the same delivery and still get the same kind of momentum that you're really trying to get out of that. Like it's crazy to me to think that, because I can't do it for the life of me.
The hardest thing trying different pitches and stuff. So like our oldest is getting into baseball. Our youngest is getting into baseball. He's 8 years old. So he's getting into kid pitch. So he wants to learn how to pitch. And he's like, well, I want to throw this pitch and a curveball and all this kind of stuff. And so to start learning how to throw those pitches, how do you throw in the same arm slot, knowing how you have to hold and release the ball and to make it look so like Framber Valdez, for example, we mentioned the last inning that his cutter and his curveball look almost exactly the same coming out the hand. Like
right. And a big part of that is repetition. A huge part of that is repetition and really just locking that in and perfecting that craft. And it's such a humbling response and such a humbling answer, but it really is. It really is sometimes that simple to really just lock in and just perfect your craft day in and day out. I mean, my guy, baby Craig over there is 8 years old. He's got a lot of time to figure it out. And like you said, 8 years old is pretty much the standard for pitching to really start teaching kids how to really do it at an elite level. And there's levels to it too. So I think, it's great to start them young. It's a lot harder to continue to do it as time goes on. And I think it's going to be even better for kids moving forward because of the technology that comes with it as well.
Yeah. And they were just showing actually Wheeler, his release points for fastball, curveball, slider, and they were almost exactly the same, but the movement almost immediate. So Wheeler allowed a walk. Alvarez got himself into a 3-1 count, and then drew a walk. So he's on first right now, bottom of the third, and you got Bregman up right now.
Hey, Craig, can I ask you something? Who are you talking to that's not me right now?
Oh, my wife's in the room right now.
Can you tell her to come on the screen and say hi? Hi. I saw it and I was like, Craig's talking to somebody right now, and I thought I was tripping.
Oh, hey, wait, check this out. Can you grab me that one right there? Underneath. That one right there. Just for you, Mikey.
Ain't no way, baby. Let's go, Craig. Let's go, Craig. Hey, nah, you know what? Let me relax. You know where I was going with that too. I was gonna be like, F Philly, F Houston, go Cubs. But for the sake of the stream, I digress.
Yeah, I got so my roommate in college, I went to Western Michigan and Kalamazoo, Michigan. It's like maybe 3 hours drive to Chicago. So my roommate for 4 years was from Chicago. He's from he's not from the city. He's from Mokina. You know where that's at?
He's not from Chicago. He's not.
No, but what I'm saying is from the Chicago area, and that's why. Because when people ask me, when people ask me, I was like, oh, he's from near Chicago. And they're like, oh, okay. It's like if people ask me, where do I live? Where am I from in Michigan? And I'm like, oh, I'm from this town. Oh, is that by Detroit? Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's by Detroit.
Hate y'all, man.
So my what I'm saying is my roommate was a big Cubs fan. So him and I would watch Cubs games all the time. So I kind of started loving the Cubs for a little while.
100%. And hey, it was a great time to love them too. It's a great time.
Yeah.
Damien said, "Damn it, Craig, liked you until now." LOL. Yeah, Damien though. If Damien's from Chicago, like he says he is, it's funny to me, man. It's funny to me. Like I was talking to my one buddy. He's from I forgot exactly where in Illinois he's from, but it's the Boondocks, man. I mean, he's in the middle of the sticks.
Yeah.
And he was telling me, he was like, oh, yeah, sometimes I tell people I'm from Chicago, but I know damn well I can drive 30 minutes and not see a single person on the road. And I'm like, yeah, bro. I was like, I don't want to hear none of that, bro. It takes me 30 minutes to go a mile. Like, no.
Wheeler got a big double play just now. Bregman, man, that was a 96 mile an hour fastball up in the zone. Could have been a ball.
Kyle Tucker on deck as well. I mean, that would have been huge if Bregman could have hit on that.
Yeah, but this was big. Segura was able to turn the double play with Alvarez was standing up, popping up while he was throwing it. So that was.
It's what Javi Baez wishes he could be, isn't it, Greg?
Exactly right.
I'm not even making fun of you because I had to deal with it too. It's just a therapy session. This is a Saturday night therapy session right now.
Yeah, exactly. It's Saturday night therapy session. Complaining about Javier Baez.
100%. El Mago. Yeah, you know why? Because he makes your playoff chances disappear. But.
Uh-oh. All right. Tucker, fly ball.
Got mad love.
Not too bad. Just a very loud out to center field. So, hey, after that first inning, Zach Wheeler, he's settling in now.
100%. And that was honestly one of the biggest questions is like, is it, and Craig, I want to ask you, like, is it too late is the question. Is it too late? And for Valdez, do you think he needs to start changing his approach going into this second go around? With 6 curveballs in a row, Craig.
Yeah, he's been doing a heavy dose of curveballs for most of this game already, which obviously once you get into that third time around in the batting order, you've definitely. Andre, what's up? How you doing, man? Appreciate you tuning in on YouTube.
Andre's dope.
So to answer your question, is it over? Based on last night, absolutely not.
Right.
I mean, it's definitely so. In this next round, you got Harper, Castellanos, and Bohm. So if you're the Phillies, this is an opportunity where you can try to generate something.
Right.
Because then you got Segura, who's 0 for 1.
Right.
And then Vierling is 0 for 1. Sosa's 0 for 1 so far. Damien's got a Chicago-based question for you about the Quinn trade.
What's up, big dog? Hold on, let me see.
He says, do you think you got too little for him? And why do they always trade with the damn Eagles?
No, I loved it. I felt like, and I'll keep it quick because I know we're on a commercial break, but I think out of a 32-year-old making a 32-year-old making $18 to $20 million a year for the next few years, I mean, it is exactly what you want out of them. And I think a big thing is everyone compares it to the Von Miller trade. They got a second and a third. We only got a fourth. At the time Von Miller got traded, he also had 4.5 sacks through several games. And yeah. Right now, Robert Quinn doesn't even have that half sack. He's sitting completely at 1, and he is the face of the defense from a pass rushing standpoint. So for you to only have 1, I feel like a 4th round pick is pretty solid, especially out of a 32-year-old.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I saw in some of the coverage about it is that they already agreed, the Eagles and Quinn already agreed that after this season's over, they're going to part ways, so they don't have to worry about the next 2 years of his contract. Yeah. So if you're Chicago and he's not performing and you're not going to pay him the amount, you're going to let him walk anyway. So why not trade to get something in this draft?
And a 4th round pick.
I agree.
I mean, a 4th-round pick can be a Pro Bowler. That's really where I'm at. And right now, the way things are set up with the Chargers, I don't want to crap on any Chargers fans right now, but we traded Mac for a couple picks and a conditional 4th-round pick. So the Chicago Bears might go into the 2023 draft with their own, the Chargers 4th, and the Eagles 4th. That means you can trade up to the 3rd round with 2 of those 4ths if you really wanted to. So to me, it's a great way to get trade capital. Or draft capital, pardon me. I loved every minute of it. It was a lot of fun. Quinn's one of those guys, 19 and a half sacks last year. I mean, he's one of those guys you gotta praise. He holds the single season sack record as a Chicago Bear, and he'll always hold that. But that does not mean that I want to pay him $18 million for the next few years. So I think they got out of it right when they could. I think it should have happened probably in the offseason before the season even started, because you probably could have got a 3rd. But again, if no one's biting, no one's biting. And that's what it is.
That's the big thing, is you got to find somebody willing to trade with you. And if that market's not there, it's not there. And Bryce Harper finds himself down already 0-2 against Valdez, just fouled one off. But now that's we mentioned that what's he going to do in this next time around? So his first 3 pitches, cutter, sinker. So he's going back to those. He's going back to, to that. Well, he's not going back to the curveball.
Right. And I think that's a great approach, especially with Bryce, because I understand, the left-handed percentage is really low this year when it comes to getting hits off of Valdez, but it's also Bryce Harper. So I as someone who's watched Bryce Harper hit several grand slams against the Chicago Cubs, just don't mess with it. Just keep switching it up. Keep switching it up. That's all I'll say on that. But I don't know. I feel like the chase rate is really high for Bryce in the first couple games so far. I understand it's a 7-game series, so it's like it is what it is. But I feel like he's chasing a lot, trying to make a statement. I think, and I love that. I think you're seeing the kid out of Bryce Harper. He wants that hit. He wants to be that hero. But Craig, does that concern you?
Well, I mean, you want him to be aggressive. You don't want him to just be kind of waiting. And there you go. The chase right there. He finally dropped in that curveball at the bottom of underneath the zone and got Harper swinging. You do want him. I think you do want him to be aggressive. And then, through the first 2 games now, regardless of what happens tonight, you've already taken home field advantage away from the Astros. So now you can get an off day, travel day, and you can go back to these first 2 games with Bryce Harper and be like, okay, this is what we were doing. This is kind of where we need to improve on. And now you've got a couple of home games that you can get back to it, as Castellanos grounds out to 3rd. So now we got 2 outs, quickly 2 outs in the top of the 4th.
Craig, I want to ask you, we're gonna have a little game right here. We're gonna do it. All right. Not counting what's already happened, right? Hero of the night, both sides, if they were to win, who do you got?
I think hero of the night, if it's the Phillies, I think the hero of the night it's got to be somebody like Rhys Hoskins. I think is somebody that he's struggling right now on paper. He's only got a 180 average this postseason, but he's a guy that's in a big moment has stepped up for Philly already this postseason. So I don't think he's too big for the moment. If he gets into a position that he can kind of be the hero for Philly. But I think tonight it's not going to be like, and they're showing a graphic right now that so far this series, the Phillies have scored all 6 of their runs after the 4th inning.
Exactly. They're a second game team, man. Second half.
Yeah. So like the Astros have scored all 8 of their runs in the innings 1 through 3. So they got off to a good start. And that's one thing I think Philly does really well is they don't quit. They don't give up. And that's, you saw in game 1. But I think tonight, like, they're going to have to chip away and just nickel and dime a little bit Houston. I don't think they're going to get a ton of home runs, but I think somebody like Rhys Hoskins would be it. And then if, say for instance, if Houston holds on in this game, the hero of the night's probably got to be. It's probably got to be Pena. He's just too hot right now.
Right.
And he's already 1 for 2 with a run and an RBI tonight.
I would say, for me personally, I'm gonna say Marsh. No, I'm playing with you. No, I got mad love for Marsh. I am a big Marsh guy, but I do think, when you look at it for what it is, I would look at someone in the bullpen potentially being the hero of the night.
Ooh, Valdez got a gift to strike out. Bohm. 97-mile-an-hour pitch, bottom of the zone. It looked like it was probably a little too low, but they called it a third strike, punched him out. It is now the middle of the fourth. 3-0 Astros.
That's what I've been talking about. But I digress. But yeah, man, I think really when you look at it for what it is, I'm a little behind, so I haven't seen the pitch yet, but I think I'm about to.
You might see it right now.
Yeah, I'm about to. Wow. That's pretty nice.
It was a nice pitch. It was maybe a little low, but you could,
I think it depends how you decipher a strike zone, but I know every ump is different, but I feel like that's been pretty consistent with what he's been calling all night. But again, that's why I love the idea of the robo ump, because it is just one square, and in
Right.
that square, I don't know how you I don't know. There would have to be like an earpiece. I think there would still be an umpire there. I think the understanding would be you'd literally just stand there and let everybody know whether it was a ball or a strike through like a headpiece or something.
Yeah.
But that kind of takes away to why the guy's even there. But for Astros, it would be Kyle Tucker. For Phillies, Schwarber. See, I'm on the same boat. I think other than I'll be different from Damien. I know Damien's got that, so I'll give him that one. But I think Alex Bregman needs to have a game. I think this is where it's kind of like, yo, are you the future of the franchise, or is Kyle Tucker about to be the future of the franchise? Like, that's, to me, Alex Bregman needs to really be there and lock in, especially last year with the injury in the playoffs. Like, you need that. I understand a wrist surgery is a wrist surgery, but you're supposed to be cleared now. So I want to see a great performance by him. And you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to do it, Craig. I'm going to pick Brandon Marsh to be my guy tonight. Off the bench, 3-run shot, Brandon Marsh. I'm locking it in right now.
Okay. Brandon Marsh off the bench tonight.
Money shot coming in for Sosa. That's how I'm going to play it. Coming in for Sosa, money shot. It's going to be beautiful. I think that's a big part of why he's not batting right now, is obviously because of Valdez, but it's a risky move, because sometimes, I understand like there's guys who, have better approaches than others, but Marsh has been really hot. So I think I wouldn't mess with it personally.
Yeah, they've got a few guys on their bench that at least throughout the season have performed fairly well. You got also somebody in, I don't think he's not injured, I don't think right now. No, he's a lefty. Derek Hall, one of the DHs in Philly. He's had over 800 OPS. His OPS plus is 121. But he's a left-handed bat that they could use coming off their bench. And I think, that's also another bat. I mean, you got a few guys that have some pretty good slash rates on the bench right now that you could utilize in late game situations. So it's possible. And from what we've seen in game one, never count out Philly.
Ever.
Nope.
Hey, Craig, I do got some. Are we still on a commercial break?
We just came back. I got Gurriel grounding out to Sosa at shortstop.
All right, really quick before the next at bat, because you showed me something cool, and I actually have it right here. I got this for $20, and you know how I used to be grounds crew at Wrigley Field. So I got this online at Cubs store. It's actual Game 7 dirt in a jar, and it is the sickest thing I've ever purchased. And on the back it says, like, I don't know if you can read. I think you could.
First World Series.
Wait. This should be better.
There it goes.
First World Series since 1908. It's officiated. It's got the whole MLB thing. It's like
Cool.
it's so everyone's like, you literally bought dirt, and I'm like, this is like everything to me though. It's so dope.
I would totally do that if the Tigers won the World Series and I had a chance to buy something from that game.
Say it for how it is. You had a chance to buy dirt, Craig.
Absolutely. If I had I feel like Johnny Depp. I got a jar of dirt.
100%. I love Johnny. You know what? Let me not say that because then they're gonna say cancel Mike, and it's gonna be a whole thing. No, wait, but the world loves Johnny now, so it's fine.
The world loves Johnny.
For a minute.
Hey, I'll give Sosa a lot of credit. Ever since he had that error in the first inning, now he's had back-to-back groundouts to him, and he's made clean throws to first base. So, hey, he's bouncing back, and that's definitely promising.
I hate Damien so much.
I didn't see. Did McCormick just tried to bunt right out the gate? He did.
Yeah, it's one of those things for McCormick. I feel like you really just look at him and what he's been doing as of late, and it's a fuck it kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like, is Mike buying a jar of dirt? No, 100%, bro, 100%. You know what? I lied too.
He said, "What the hell? Mike is Joe Dirt now." That's 100%. What he said.
Yeah, that jar of dirt was more like $100, but I digress. It's whatever. I tell people 20, so it makes it sound better.
Oh, that was a tough play. I don't know where Sosa was on that, but McCormick just took a 95-mile-an-hour sinker almost right down the plate, and hit it straight up the middle. Segura couldn't get there, but it looked like it was on the shortstop side of second base. So I don't know where Sosa was in that. If he was lined up maybe in a shift slightly, but
100%. Yeah, I mean that's what's gonna change everything, man. Is the shift being gone. I mean, we have guys. And I'm not trying to be a biased guy here, but guys like Anthony Rizzo, who are going to go from batting 208 to potentially even being a 280, 290s plus hitter just because the shift is gone. It's going to be an exciting year for baseball next year.
Yeah, I think the runs are going to go up. Guys like, I know a really extreme case. Oh, wow. Nice catch.
That was solid.
Bohm looked like, dude, Bohm pulled a Superman. He did, dude. He got some ups.
I'm still like a minute behind you, bro. I don't know what to do with this. Maybe if I
that was almost a run saving catch too, because it was almost right over Bohm's head at third, and if it got over his head, that's in the corner, and I think McCormick scores from first.
Oh, I mean, you, especially a guy like McCormick, I think you have to score on that. Oh, I just saw it. Craig, that was fucking sick.
That was nasty.
That was Derek Jeter in his prime right there. Wow.
I was going to say that, but I was like, I don't want to bring the Yankees into this.
I'll do it. I mean, all right, fine. That's Nolan Arenado-esque. That's Manny Machado-esque. That was an amazing play. I loved every minute of that. That is baseball. That is baseball right there. That is sick. Wow, what a and now I'm on a commercial.
Yep. Now we're in commercials right now.
You know what someone did to me, bro? I'm on live. 5,000 people are there. I'm like just doing homework. It was a nice night. It was beautiful. There's so many people. Or maybe it wasn't 5. Maybe it was like 2.5. But we were just chilling, all vibing. And it was a Q&A. And the Q&A questions on TikTok just come up. Yeah. And the one said, how do you feel about the Ye situation? And I said, nope. And I just like, next question. And then I immediately just did advertising. I was like, the All Sports All Plays Network.
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about Kanye? And I was like, no.
Nope. We're not going down that road.
This is Cubs.Mike, damn it. We're talking about Cubs baseball, or we're not talking at all. We are not going down the Ye road.
I know Damien asked this question here. Thoughts on Ohtani wanting to leave the Angels, and where do we think he'd be a good fit?
I think Ohtani would be a great fit anywhere. It's Shohei fucking Ohtani. Like, he'd be perfectly fine no matter where he went. Now, if you're asking, obviously this is what he was asking, but what team would it be a perfect design for? I'm going to give you a little one out of left field, Craig. I think the Toronto Blue Jays could insanely need a guy like Shohei Ohtani right now, because they are not only missing that guy who can just be that bat. Like, obviously, Vladdy and Bo are great, and George Springer, when he's healthy, is great. But, you really have a lot of young guys there. Kirk is great, too, but they're super young. Bring in Ohtani. You have Ryu. You have Barrios. You have Ohtani. You have a plethora of guys in your rotation that can help you go deep.
This might seem like a little bit of a softball, but I think there's one spot that Ohtani would fit in really well, regardless if he plays both ways or if he just picks one side or the other. A place that I think he would be revered, Seattle. I know they had Ichiro, but they have a really big fan base in Asia because of him. Right. And that's a place that I think if he goes there, he doesn't have to be the next Ichiro, because it's completely different scenarios in how they play. But I think that's a spot that they could use him in their lineup big time. You saw that in the playoffs. Yeah. And they could use him as a starter in the pitching rotation too.
You have Gossman. You have a lot of guys that you could really rely on. Castillo. A lot of guys that you could really just rely on, especially with Ohtani. They have a three-headed monster there with Gossman, Castillo, and obviously Ohtani.
And Robbie Ray too. They still got.
I forgot they had Robbie Ray. I don't know why it escaped my mind that who has Gossman? Does Toronto have Gossman now?
I think Toronto's got Gossman.
They swapped, right?
Yeah,
they swapped. Okay, pardon me to all the Seattle fans. I fucked up, but it's all right.
All the stat checkers out there.
Oh, Mike's a fraud. I'm a fraud. But
so hey, we were talking about the Phillies after the fourth inning and how they play.
Mm-hmm.
The very first at bat, Segura sees two sinkers in a row, and he lines one right down the first base line for a single.
I'm actually watching that right as you say it, and it was one of the most beautifully said things I've ever heard in broadcasting. So shout out to Craig, by the way. Craig is so great at what he does.
I don't know. Hey, have you ever heard of the what's that? There's an app that basically it's a broadcasting app that you can use on iPhone.
Like
I forget what it's called. I got to look this up because it's only on iPhone, and I've messaged the owner multiple times over the last couple of years and we've had a conversation about joining up on his thing, and but they don't have it on. It's called Colorcast.
Yeah.
So it's a broadcasting app. I think that'd be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do that for a while. I just don't have an iPhone.
I was about to ask. Sorry, I just looked up a picture of Colorcast and it showed me some random blonde girl. But I was like, what?
That's the wrong website, sir.
An unwanted color shift in the whole image, which can be caused by reflected light from a nearby object. Sir, you're not giving me what I want, but I'm doing this on a MacBook Air, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, this is so I don't know if you can see it right here. This is the app. If you look in the App Store, it's called Colorcast.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I'll check it out. Craig, we can definitely get that going, bro. You just got to get on the Blue Gang, man. Be a Blue Gang. iPhone.
So I've been wanting to get a iPad, and you can still do it off an iPad too.
That would work. And you wouldn't have to sync in your contacts or anything. You could just
Yeah.
Man, I'm getting so much better at broadcasting. I was going to say
it's fun, man. It's fun.
Yeah.
So it looks like Vierling hit into a double play, and looks like the Phillies might challenge the play at first.
I just saw a basic pitch by Valdez, though. Oh, man. Let me check. I think I'm about to get that exact play you're talking about.
Turn the double play. Oh, that's a tough play at first. I don't know.
Here comes a double play.
It looks like they're not going to challenge it, though.
I would challenge it.
Yeah, it looks like they're not challenging. So, very quickly, Philly had a base runner, no outs. Now no runners, 2 outs. Top of the 5th, down 3-0.
Let me ask you this, and I'm very curious about your response to it. You think Valdez is dealing with something right now? I just see like his facial expressions and the way he's kind of asserting his arm in a certain position, and I feel like that's where we're seeing a lack of fastballs tonight. And I don't know if there is something going on with Valdez, but I do think it's very interesting to kind of see his facial expressions after every pitch.
Yeah. It's interesting because right now he's thrown a changeup, a sinker, in this third pitch, another sinker.
Mm-hmm.
He's definitely. Yeah, you can definitely tell right now that when he throws, like he kind of stood there for a second when he threw that last pitch. I don't know. Maybe he might be dealing with something, but if he is, I mean, you're still throwing.
Yeah.
Woo.
95 right in the cut. That's nice. He painted the corner on that one for sure.
Yeah.
High fastball. That was nice.
Oh, that's what they're talking about right now on the broadcast, is they're looking at his feet.
Come on, bro. We do this, Craig. We're ahead of them. Be better. Be better. Hi, Craig. You saw that? You saw that catch?
Nice.
That was some Spider-Man shit right there. Oh, man. If that would have fell on me on a live broadcast, I would have left you, Craig. I would have been like, no.
So I gotta say, I like it. I've noticed that your stuff in the background here, all the memorabilia. I like that setup.
This was all my dad's, man. I mean, my dad, God rest his soul, but he was diehard. This whole basement's crazy. But yeah, I never really came down here. He passed away in 2015, and I just never came down here because it's just like, it's just this was like me and his spot. And it was like, I was just like, whatever. And then when I got back into podcasting, my mom was going to beat my ass if I yelled in my room any louder. So I was just like, all right, let me go to the basement. And then I just I made it kind of my own. And I kind of just been slowly revamping it. I'm trying to get some more like accurate stuff. Like I need a Rizzo jersey somewhere here. Got mad love for Urlacher, but fuck that. We need a Rizzo jersey.
I got a Chris Bryant Cubs jersey over here if you want it.
I'll buy it off you, bro.
He says, I'll buy it.
I swear to God, Craig. I gotta
ask my wife. It's my wife's jersey.
Oh, then no, that's your wife's.
No, so what I do, I have a connection that I can get custom jerseys made. Mm-hmm. So I'll get jerseys, but I'll get my name and number on the backs of them.
Yeah, like I got one for my 21st birthday. I got a Hughes 21, and it was my number has always been 3. 3 or 10, but I loved I was just drunk as shit in Wrigley Field. Now they're like, how old are you? And I was like, 21. Whatever that says.
Whatever that says. Lost. Sir, it says 3.
What? Oh shit, wrong jersey.
Oh goodness. Sosa strikes out looking. I gotta look and see how many pitches Valdez has thrown. I don't see. Oh, he's thrown 79 pitches so far.
It's a nice spot.
Through 5 innings. 5. He's got 8 strikeouts, only allowed 2 hits and 2 walks. And those 2 walks were early.
Mm-hmm. They were very early, but I think a lot of that is why we're seeing such off speed. I think he lost his command with the fastball.
Yeah, he's so far thrown 54 strikes. 68% of his pitches have been strikes so far.
Solid day.
On the other side, so Wheeler's going to head back out there for his 5th inning. So far through 4 innings, he's got 4 hits. He's allowed 2 earned runs, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. 53 pitches, and 32 of those were for strikes. So he's at 60%. So it's still not too bad. And it was really just that first inning for Wheeler that kind of did him in. And now I'm trying to die on a live stream. How so, Damian? What did I do? What did I say?
And what are you going to do about it?
That's a better question.
That's my favorite. Like, you know what's crazy, Craig? I was on TikTok the other day and I said something about the Patriots. And bro was like, hey, man, you better watch your mouth. And he commented that. And then I was live on ASAP. So I went, if I have something to say to the chat, and my chat on TikTok is always so toxic. I love them. They're great. They be going at each other. And I always point. I'm like, give me a second. So I came off live. And I was like, what about it? Like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm a keyboard warrior, Craig. I don't think you understand. I'm like, I will fight you. We can meet. Like, what are we doing here? And it's all smoke and mirrors. I ain't meeting with nobody. But it's like, hey, bro, watch your mouth. Hey, bro, who gonna stop me? I love it. It's great, Craig. Craig, Damien.
No, it's funny though. It's funny though because that I've heard that joke a lot since growing up. So it's very
funny then, and it's not funny now.
No, it is. It's very funny because at first I hated it, and then I was like, just lean into it. Who cares? Like they think it's funny. Even if I don't think it's funny, like I'm gonna lean into it. It's gonna be good. So,
100%.
I mean, it's that movie was made. I don't even remember what year that movie was made anymore.
Friday, I think it was like maybe early 2000. Early 2000.
Yeah, I think it was late 90s.
Yeah, late 90s for sure. Let me look it up. Friday.
Yep. Oh, base hit Altuve to lead off the bottom of the fifth for the Houston Astros. That's his second hit of the night.
I told you. April 26, 1995.
95. Okay.
Wow. Did you ever hear the story about why Chris Tucker was in the rest of the movies?
No.
I heard they said they gypped him on a bunch of the money, and they never paid him the money that he was supposed to get paid. And then they asked him to come back, and he was like, "Bitch, you still haven't paid me since the first one." And it was like, that's exactly what he said. And they were like, "Man, that's crazy."
So now Wheeler's got himself in a bit of a predicament here. You got Pena up to bat, and Altuve is going to look to steal. He got a stolen base last night.
Free tacos.
Free tacos.
Fucking go, Dusty. Give me some tacos. Craig, do you know, for the people and maybe myself, how long the free tacos are for?
I want to say it's just for the next day.
Is it every day that there's a stolen base though? Or just the first?
I think it's just the first one, honestly. I don't really remember though.
I missed it. Damn it. I remember 2017 I got it. I remember I was like, yeah, I was so hyped. I was like, let's go. Me and my boys after school is senior year. It was senior year. We ran through the cut. We were like, yo, give me the tacos. I forgot who did it too. 2017, the Houston Astros versus the Dodgers, I want to say.
Sounds about right.
I want to say it was like Chris Taylor who got it. I'm going to look it up. First stolen base. World Series.
All right, so far to Pena.
Cameron Maybin. Wow.
Who was it?
It was Cameron Maybin.
Cameron Maybin. Wow, that's a throwback.
Right, the Astros. That's crazy. I think he was on the Cubs too. I don't think he was on the Tigers.
I think he got drafted to the Tigers.
I think he did, and then he just went everywhere.
Oh no, he was part of that. He was part of that Miguel Cabrera trade that brought him in.
Yeah, that guy had a career. I'll never hate on a guy. I love a platoon guy who just kind of travels around. Those guys to me are fun.
Yeah. Zach Wheeler gets a strikeout on Pena, got him chasing on a curveball down and away.
You know who else was crazy, Craig?
He was way off on that too.
Terrence Gore was crazy. Terrence Gore was one of those guys you just saw in every uniform possible.
Those journeyman guys, you got to wonder, like, if you're a journeyman guy, at first you're probably like, all right, it kind of sucks to get traded. And then after a while, I can't remember who it was. I think it was an NBA guy. He got traded to a bunch of different teams.
Oh, yeah.
But he had them all up in his home. Like, he had framed jerseys of all the different teams he played for.
That's dope to me. Like, you have every single uniform number.
How cool would that be?
It's pretty sick. I mean, it's probably you probably have to have a frame guy at some point that is your frame guy that you're tight with, because the deals for that need to be insane. That was great. Valdez is just something. Alvarez. I don't know why I said Valdez.
Yeah. Alvarez just reached first on a fielder's choice. And for as big as he is, that man is fast out of the box.
And I think that's one of the conversations. All right, so Craig, I'm gonna hit you with a truth right now. So I promise you, Craig, and I've done it. I have the medals and the accolades to prove it. I'm one of the fastest kids from Chicago. I promise you that. And I ran like a 4.6 flat in a 4.640. And what a lot of people don't realize, one kid told me, he was like, "You're capping. There's no way. That's average in the NFL. That's average in college." And I was like, "Yeah, when you're 5'8" and 150 pounds soaking wet, that's average, But when you're 6'4", 250, and you're flying the way Alvarez does, a 4.6 is impressive. Like, these guys are huge. And like, for a smaller guy like me, it's like, it is what it is. Like, I'm flying and it's easy to fly. But guys who are that big, what they can be for a league and for an organization, I mean, that's everything right there. Like, your guy right now, Spencer Torkelson, I look at Torkelson and I'm like, if that kid can get a little bit more speed under him, he's a threat.
His thing, like, he's just got to get, I don't know what it is, but when he was in Toledo at AAA, he was raking. Like, he still had some strikeouts, but he was raking. And he gets up to the big leagues 2 different stints last year, and he can't, for whatever reason, he can't find any consistency at the plate. Dusty Baker looks to be challenging something, I think. We don't have any, obviously can't play any sound, but it looks like there might be a challenge or something going on here, because all the umpires, all like 50 million of them, are convening at home plate. Houston's challenging. Yeah, they're going to throw out an official challenge, so the replay will kind of show us what. Oh, he's challenging that Sosa did not touch second base on the double play. I mean, it looks like his toe grazed second base, but you've got to have indisputable evidence to say that he did not touch second.
Yeah, 100%. I think Dusty's reaching on that one. But you have to.
It's the World Series. You have to. You only get what, one challenge?
Right. And there's 2 outs. That's going to be the third. So, I mean.
Yeah. So instead of having a runner on first with 2 outs, you could potentially, if this gets overturned, you could have 1 out, 2 runners on, 1 in scoring position. I don't know. I don't see any indisputable evidence to overturn it.
My bad. I still had the sound on a little bit. But I don't see.
It looks like that the one angle they showed showing from left field in,
I like
you could see, you could see pretty clearly that his foot grazed it.
100%. 100%. Wow.
I guess Damien's ahead of us. He said the call stands.
Oh man, yeah, Damien's always ahead of us. Damien's always light years ahead of me. He's a man amongst boys.
Yep, they keep it as an out. So it's, I mean, I can't blame Dusty for the challenge there. I think you're right. I mean, you got nothing to lose here. It's bottom of the 5th inning. You do have a 3-run lead, but every base runner could be crucial. Every at bat counts.
Right.
So I don't blame him for trying to go for that.
100%. During this commercial break, Mike Hughes will be right back. In a respectful way, I gotta pee.
We still got 1 more out here in the bottom of the 5th. Wheeler's at 60 pitch. Oh, there he is.
My bad, B. My bad, B.
No, go ahead. Wheeler's got 61 pitches. Bregman so far is 0 for 2 tonight. One of the interesting things now is that Wheeler coming into this game threw a lot of fastballs, didn't throw a ton of off-speed stuff. So now with Bregman, he is going back to more of his sinkers. I think if you are successful in your challenge, and y'all could correct me if I'm wrong here. If you're successful in your challenge in baseball, Bregman knocked that deep, and that's way out. That almost hit the train. Oh my God. That was a monster shot. Monster shot by Bregman in a 2-0 count. The slider was right over the plate. Houston now takes a commanding 5-0 lead with 2 outs in the bottom of the 5th. And this is the position that the Philadelphia Phillies were just in game 1, except they got down early in the game. And now at this point, you're in the 5th inning. Wheeler, looks like they're just going to try to get Wheeler out of this inning. And nothing against Wheeler. He literally that was one really bad pitch out of his first inning. Yeah, and it looked like Real Muto wanted that off the plate more, and it just carried and held over the plate. That thing went over the boardwalk that they have out in left field, and that almost hit the train. But it looks like Real Muto was he was expecting that pitch to be low and away, and it hung just over the plate. And now with one swing of the bat, Bregman comes up big. Houston's up 5-0. Zach Wheeler now, he got himself out of that first inning, but had one just really bad pitch, and now he's down in a 3-0 hole to Kyle Tucker, who's 0 for 2 tonight. He went curveball, changeup, fastball, and now that one's outside. So now Tucker's on base. Zach Wheeler now is completely falling apart in the 5th inning for the Philadelphia Phillies. So I think this is for the Phillies. You were hoping to get Zach Wheeler through 6 and to give you a chance in this game, but one swing of the bat, 2 runs. Now I think you have to start digging into your bullpen. It depends. You gotta see how Wheeler's feeling, if he can get himself out of this inning. Gotta update our banner here. But hey, let us know in the comments who do you got win this game. I know right now it's 5-0 Houston. And we're going to be talking all about the World Series on ASAP in the morning, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon. We got a ground out to Bohm. Ooh. That's a tough throw all the way across the diamond. Tough throw all the way across the diamond. So great job by Bohm to get that and to get it there enough. And Hoskins just great job scooping that out. But the big thing of this inning, Bregman, 2-run shot. 2-run shot to give Houston a 5-0 lead in now the end of the 5th inning. So if you're Philadelphia, you probably have to start looking into your bullpen and maybe start digging into that, because Zach Wheeler, he had that tough first inning, and then he had 3 innings of solid work, but just left a slider hanging too much over the plate. Bregman tattooed it and sent it almost to the train in left field. And now this is kind of looking like it did last night in game 1. Houston's up 5-0 end of the 5th, And now due up for the Phillies. Due up for the Phillies in the top of the sixth. You got Kyle Schwarber, who's 1 for 2 tonight. Rhys Hoskins, who's 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. And then JT Realmuto, 0 for 2 with a strikeout. And I think if there's any chance that Philly has in this game, it's got to be, you got to hope that it's going to start happening right now. They've only mustered 2 hits so far through 5 innings. Haven't really had a chance to get many base runners on. So hopefully that's something if you're a fan of the Philadelphia Phillies, they can change. But the way that I look at this game for the Phillies is the fact that you stole game 1. That's probably all you could have expected. Probably all you could have expected from the Phillies in this series. If you can steal a game on the road to give yourself home field advantage, it's very unlikely that you were going to steal a second game on the road against a team like the Houston Astros, who, I mean, they've scored 5 runs in each of the first 2 games already through the world in this World Series matchup. So you can go back to Philly, tied 1-1. You've got the advantage now over the course of the 7-game series. So now due up, we're going to have Schwarber, Rhys Hoskins, and Realmuto facing off against Framber Valdez, who has been phenomenal so far in this game.
Schwarbino!
You did, Mike, as soon as you left, you just missed it.
No.
Bregman tattooed one to left field. And
home run?
Yeah, Bregman tattooed one, 2-run shot to left field. And he almost hit the train above the left field wall.
Let me do something really quick. I didn't want y'all to have to hear that. Oh, wait, I was coming back too. I'll be back again. I realized, Craig, when we started this, my mic is upstairs, but I'll be right back.
Mike on the mic has to go get his mic, and he'll be right back.
Swear to God.
So now for Framber Valdez, this is your 3rd time through the lineup. And he's already pitched 5 solid innings, 8 strikeouts, only 2 hits, only 2 walks. He's got a 1-2 count on Schwarber. He's continuing to go back to that curveball. But they're showing the comparison between the starters right now, Wheeler and Framber Valdez. And man, on paper, first 2 games, the Phillies starters they've been slapped around quite a bit already through the first 2 games. So on paper, it's not going to look good. So to be able, oh, that's a tough one. Framber Valdez wanted that outside. Schwarber wasn't having it, and that was real close. That had some movement back. Woo! That's a tough one to lay off.
100%. Let's see here. 5 innings.
Schwarber yet again. He got himself back to a full count and then walked.
Yeah, it's one of those things about Schwarber. Wait 1 second. Can you hear me, Craig?
Yeah,
Okay.
We got you.
Yeah. Sometimes you plug in your right there. That was
Yep.
it. I was waiting for it. It does that little weird thing. But the thing about Schwarber is if he just started off his at-bats a little bit better, he wouldn't always have to be chasing the count. And I think that's one of his biggest flaws. It always kind of has been. He's the most impatient, patient person I've ever met, if that's the best way I could put it.
Yeah.
I love Schwarber, though. Look at him go. Look at Schwarber. Oh, man. That's my son. They're all my sons.
But yeah, Valdez had a pitch that he thought he struck out Schwarber. And that thing, coming from a left-hander, it's moving left to right. and then it also tailed back almost over the plate. That was a nasty. That wasn't a sinker. That couldn't have been a sinker.
No,
They
but
have
I
it
will
listed as
say-
a sinker, but that thing moved laterally.
And that's the beauty of it. I think it actually is a sinker. It just the way guys position it. I mean, we're in an age right now where sinkers are cutting are curving, and fastballs are dipping. It's insane to me right now, Craig. I think I sent it to you the one day. Somebody's
There you go.
changeup.
Base hitting the gap. Reese Hoskins.
I love
Schwarber
it.
stays at second. So now I got runners on first and second, top of the sixth with no outs.
Here we
And
go.
this is the position that Philadelphia wanted to see themselves in. Third time through the lineup. We talked about this at the beginning of this broadcast. The third time through that lineup are the hitters going to be able to key in and figure out Framber Valdez? And I think so far, so good.
Now let me ask you this: at what point do you start to just see the velocity from Valdez? Like, do you see that coming, or do you think that's kind of the telltale sign that we've seen all night that he actually can't go? Do you think there's going to be a time where, let's say, bases loaded, 2 outs, 3-2 count? Are you going to see that high fastball?
Well, he's touched mid to upper 90s on a few of his pitches. His sinker's gotten up to 97 a few times in this game. I don't know if he touches any higher than that tonight based on what he's been doing already, but I don't know. I think he might be dealing with something because we've seen him pull that out of his bag. Like that was a cutter or a sinker at 94.
Mm-hmm.
So
now I want to ask you this too. I'm full of questions right now. Reese Hoskins, a quiet guy for the most of his career, not a guy who's really pimping out baseballs and flexing in the dugout. But this series in particular, and throughout the entire playoffs as a whole, this guy has become Fernando Tatis Jr. 2.0 and Javi Baez, a Manny Machado. He has been electrifying for you. You know, as someone I know you've watched his game for quite some time. Has that always been the case with him, or is that something new that you've been seeing from him? Just kind of the swagginess that comes with it.
I mean, I haven't really seen a ton of that from him until recently. So, that's something that I think maybe he's just really starting to hit his stride. And now, like, especially this postseason, you just see him, he's really kind of, I wouldn't say turn the page, but he's kind of just up to his game to the next level. And I think his confidence went with it, which is why you see the way he's carrying himself now.
I also think there's guys that sometimes realize you need to be that guy. Like sometimes I think clubhouses miss that. Like me, I wasn't the most, athletically gifted players in the clubhouse, but if you needed somebody to slide in the head first, I'm your guy. Like I'm there and we're here for it. So it's something I think you kind of just need to embrace. And it's been a lot of fun watching this team kind of play. They're a fun group.
Yeah, they're such a fun group to watch. I mean, this Phillies team they've found themselves in that position with having to fire Joe Girardi because they're not hitting expectations. They go out and spend all this money. And then now they just have this never say die attitude and now it's carrying. So Real Muto, he chased the high heat and strike out.
My bad, Chris.
Chased the high heat and struck out. So Valdez has got his 9th strikeout of the night. 9th strikeout of the night, and now you still got runners on first and second with 1 out.
Damn,
and now you've got Bryce Harper up.
Body yada yada. Sorry, Craig.
Let's get this updated. There we go. Get this updated.
Craig,
they're showing
something.
Yeah.
You listen to Megan Thee Stallion or Cardi B, Craig?
I do not.
You do not? Do you listen to Glorilla?
I don't even know who that is. I'm sorry.
I'll tell you what, Craig. Me neither, but I've been bopping all day to this one song. It's been great.
First pitch. Bryce Harper grounds into a double play.
We got a man on third or no?
Well, it's end of the inning now.
Oh yeah.
Well, they had 1 out.
My bad. I'm a little behind. You seen the difference between his sinker and his curveball though? I mean, it is insane. Like the split second that it just changes completely. I mean, it's so insane. I think it's one of the most interesting things about it, and you kind of attested to it, especially with Valdez. It's one of those things where it legitimately looks like the same pitch coming out of his hand, and up until the point where it's about maybe 2 feet in front of your face, and it completely breaks or it completely sinks. It's kind of like insane to think about that you can find a way to control that into happening. And I think it's such a rare anomaly. And I understand there's a bunch of guys in the league that can do it, but it's kind of just a testament to them on like how insane the game of baseball really is.
Yeah, it's his movement and how it looks from right out of his hand. And we were touching on this earlier. It's nasty because they were showing the same thing with Zach Wheeler earlier. That what it looks like with his 3 pitches, and they were showing the movement that happens right away because they did those overlays. I love seeing those overlays where they'll show the guy pitch and it shows 3 different pitches, and from the time it leaves his hand for the first maybe split second, they're all in the same area, and then you got the curveball drops, and there's so much movement on some of those. So
100%.
It's wild. I couldn't imagine being a major league hitter.
No, yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine just being in the majors as a whole. I'd be tired. But it's something, when you look at it, I think the crazier thing is catching. I think the catching aspect of it is so much harder. I've caught a couple games. You know what, Craig? I'll flex my flex. In high school, they had the girls softball team. They won championships every single year. And then I'm a center fielder, and it's not by choice. It's because I'm left-handed and I'm a horrible infielder. But for whatever reason, they were like, yo, boys versus girls, varsity boys baseball team versus varsity girls softball team. We're playing each other. My best friend, Robert Blaylock, he's like a third baseman, pitching kind of hybrid. You could really put him wherever you want him. And he was like, I'm going to pitch. And I was like, I'm a senior. So I was like, I'm catching. Like, I want to catch. I'm left-handed, but I'm catching. And we threw a no-hitter against these girls. And I will talk my talk till the day I die. I don't care. I don't care if it wasn't a real in-game. It was great. But watching like the ball just change, it gave me a completely different respect. I know my guy, Evan Russell, he's on In Off the Bench podcast all the time with Jim Cross, Randy Jowers, and Daniel as well. DB does great hosting. Him and Craig, some of the best on the network. But it's something right now, when you look at guys touching 100, 105. I mean, like he pitched, he caught for Ben Joyce. I know you know Ben Joyce. He's with the Angels now, and like that is insane to me. And that's just not even talking about the breaking ball stuff. I mean, Craig, for you, like how insane is it to think like not only are you putting on a helmet that compromises obviously your vision and everything you can do there, but what would it be like for you kind of being in that situation? Do you think you can handle that?
I've been catching more now with with our kids playing baseball, and even some of the kids now at up to 12, 13 years old, you're starting to see some velocity on some of these kids. So it's as younger, I could not have caught. There's no way. I wasn't that type of guy that wanted to catch.
Me either.
So
I just wanted to say I did it one time. First timer, no hitter, retired, done.
Yep, just retire. You can't get any better than that.
It was David Ross getting carried out of Wrigley or out of Cleveland Stadium with a trophy in his hand. I was like, anything is possible. That was just crazy. It was crazy.
Yeah. Bottom of the 6th now. Andrew Bellotti has relieved Zach Wheeler. Came in and got Diaz to pop out to shortstop. So now we had mentioned that at the beginning of this game, if you wanted to be successful, you had to get Wheeler, into that 6th inning. But outside of that 1st inning, and we were watching the pitch sequence with the home run he gave up, and he just like Real Muto was expecting that this slider was going to be down and away, and it ended up over the plate. And outside of that one, I think really just that bad pitch,
right?
he's actually pitched a solid game from the second inning on.
Yeah, it's been interesting, man. I think this is about to be the moment. You're looking at the Phillies and you're understanding, they're a second time through the lineup, third time through the lineup kind of team, and they're not hitting on their strides right now offensively. They are, but they're not capitalizing on it, I should say. And going into the bullpen now, you're looking at it for what it is, and this is where the 7-3 ball game comes into place, Craigie boy. I think it's about to get really ugly.
Yeah, you had said 7-3 beginning of this game. Right now, Bellatti's throwing. He has not thrown anything but a slider so far in this game. He threw back-to-back sliders to Diaz. Now 3 pitches in. He's thrown 3 sliders. He takes a long time to pitch. There's another one, foul ball. So he's thrown now 6 pitches, all sliders, to start this game. But this is where you're going to have to dive into that bullpen for the Phillies, and how many arms are you willing to use? Because right now, unless your offense kind of turns it around, which they have not been able to, they've gotten a few base runners, but they've only had 3 hits. They've had, I think, maybe 5-6 base runners total. Segura takes that McCormick ground ball on the shift. 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. But now I think if you're the coaching staff for the Phillies here and you're down 5-0, I think if you get through this, you let Bellotti go out there and just try to pitch him for at least, I would say at least almost 2 full innings.
Yeah. No, have to. You absolutely. I didn't mean to cut you off short, but you absolutely have to. I think it's not. Game is over, because it's not over. Obviously we saw what happened yesterday, and we've seen what's happened throughout the series and the season as a whole. You never know when to say when until that last out. But as of right now, for the sake of the series, you have to go at least an inning and a half right now.
Yeah, I think, you got to go. You got to go inning and 2/3 or 2 full innings.
Maybe you see who's pitching right now. My bad, his name.
Andrew
Bellotti, and then maybe Robertson gives you another inning and a half, maybe. And he did that all year with the Cubs, so maybe you can get away with that,
Yeah. Well, Bellotti's sticking with that slider. He's with Maldonado. He's thrown back-to-back sliders. He's thrown 9 pitches and 8 sliders.
Mm-hmm.
So he's definitely trying to keep the ball low and away to try to not let it get over the plate and have the Astros extend this lead.
100%. Oh, it's great to be right, Craig. It's a beautiful thing. 2 more runs and we can head out of here.
Yeah, but I mean, what I was saying while you were taking a break using the bathroom.
It was a great save.
Right? Taking a break using the bathroom. If you're the Phillies, even if you get shut out right now 5-0.
Right.
You did what you needed to do for this series is steal a game on the road, and you pulled some magic in game 1 that nobody was expecting.
MLB history, really. I mean, the last time that happened was 1956 with the Dodgers. I think that was like game 2, if I read it correctly. Like that is, it's been a minute. So it was dope.
Bellotti throws another slider down and away, strikes out Maldonado, and 3 up, 3 down for the Houston Astros. And now Phillies got a chance. Castellanos is going to lead off. Castellanos, Bohm, and Segura are going to be up. Castellanos 0 for 2 for the strikeout tonight. Bohm 0 for 1 with a walk and a strikeout. And then Segura 1 for 2 with a strikeout.
Craig, you want to know your fact of the day?
What's our fact of the day, Mike?
Fact of the day, the last time a lead like that was blown in the World Series was also by Dusty Baker, 2002 with the Giants. So, I mean, Hey, shout out Dusty as former Cubs manager, but damn, Dusty, like it's rough. It's a rough life being Dusty Baker.
Yeah, it's rough. I know he's been in some positions that he's been on the wrong end of a lot of his World Series World Series matchups.
He's been a part of a history a lot and never on the right side of it.
Never on the right side. Oh, but I mean, looking at the rest of their lineup, nobody's really been able to do much of anything tonight. So I know they had somebody up in the bullpen in this last inning for the Astros. So it is possible that we have seen the end of Framber Valdez tonight. And if that is the case, 6 innings, 9 strikeouts. His ERA right now in the postseason is 0.96. 94 pitches thrown.
That's insane.
Yeah, he's been pretty lights out outside of allowing 3 walks. But even so, he hasn't gotten himself in the same position that Zach Wheeler did. Had a really rough first inning, settled in for a few more innings, and then gave up that 2-run homer in the 5th.
Also, Bulls lead 105-103. 5 minutes left. Finish it off, Debo. Finish it off, baby. We have not, for context, because we had a lot of Philly fans and Astros fans probably here. We have not beaten Houston, or not Houston, pardon me. We have not beaten Philly since 2019, bro.
Yikes.
Finish it off. Oh, dude, the shit I'll talk without Lonzo.
Yeah. I mean, what's going on with Lonzo?
Lonzo's an interesting situation, man. I hate the fans who are like, yo, get away from it, move on, because they obviously the D-Rose stuff and a lot of other injuries, we're used to it. So I think the thing with Lonzo, taking into consideration, he's 23. Injuries have always been a part of his career. Always have. And it's always the knick-knack injuries, the muscular ones. It's not really anything you can do about that. I don't know if it's his diet, the way he trains, whatever. Some guys are just prone to it. It's a lot on your body. So the thing with Lonzo is really just the first surgery that was not a success. They went in, did a second one. It's still bothering him. Did a third one. He said he feels great after the third one, a lot better than he did after the first 2. And now it's just a waiting game. So yeah, you could sit as long as you want. I love Ayo Dosunmu. I love Gordon Dragic. I love everybody. Caruso.
Gordon Dragic still plays
very well. He plays very well, actually. He's killing it right
retired.
Now. No, yeah, he's killing it. He's killing it. He's a 3-point specialist now. Not really. I'm just kidding. But he's definitely been killing it.
So Framber Valdez is back on the mound for the 7th inning.
I think that's a mistake.
He's thrown 94 pitches, and they've shown that he had 8 groundouts tonight and 1 flyout. His 8 groundouts, he had the highest percentage of groundouts in Major League Baseball at 64% this year. So, yeah, now, I mean, rolling him out for the 7th. You got Castellanos, who's we mentioned is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. I think this, outside of Castellanos, you could, if you're Valdez, you could get through this inning, and because I mean nobody's been playing really well. Castellanos hasn't been playing very well at the plate. Bohm's been all right. Segura's got a hit tonight, but after that you got Vierling and Sosa too, so you could still get through. So now they do have somebody in the bullpen. They got Montero now in the bullpen. It's somebody else in the last inning. I didn't see who it was.
Montero is actually a really solid option. I think Montero is really slept on for what he's been able to do this year. And you know what? Montero, because I love saying the name Montero. Miguel Montero lives forever, baby. Game 7. But it's something when you really look at it. I think he's a guy, not on every team, Craig, not on every team, but hear me out. I think he's a guy who could give you 3 to 4 innings consistently. And I really do. I think he's one of those guys. Now, you're not going to ask him to, but in a situation like this, up 5 runs, even though they were up 5 runs yesterday, I think I would try to get as much from Montero as you can as possible.
Yeah. They were just showing Valdez. So he had, if you remember, he had 2 starts last year in the World Series in 2021.
Shit the bed.
And yeah, he gave up 5 earned runs in each of those 2 outings. So for him, I mean, 100 pitch outing, you've given up 0 runs, only 3 hits.
This is a Dusty Baker move at its finest.
Yeah, this is him letting him go out there and pitch with confidence.
100%. But I also think I mean that in 2 ways. Like, it's a Dusty Baker move, as in that's the guy who believes in me. But it's also the conversation of like, that's why you don't have a fucking ring. And it's like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so many levels to it. So it's like he's gonna live or die by this decision right here. Maybe not die, but it's gonna go from a 5-run lead to a whole crap. Like, we gotta get Montero.
Well, we got a full count. Castellanos hits a line drive into left field in the gap.
That's
going to second, stand up double.
Come on, baby.
Here you go. So now if you're Dusty Baker, you made this decision to have Framber Valdez back out there.
Finish it off.
Do you pull him for Montero right now?
No. I'll tell you what though. I am an Irish Italian male in America from a city. So my stubbornness refuses me to actually take him out. But as a conscious decision, I would have been like, yeah, you know what, you're done. But this is the bed you made. Make it.
Yeah. This is where we're at now. So now looks like I don't think this is
check this out.
No, there's no pitching coach or anything, but they got a timeout. They got a timeout, a huddle at the mound. So I think they're just trying to give Montero more time to warm up.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll see. I wouldn't be surprised if, say, for instance, if Bohm gets on base here, I think Valdez is done.
Yeah, I think there's a conversation about it. And you know what would make me feel a lot more comfortable about it is if you were to say Castellanos was a single. If it was a single, I think there's the conversation of, okay, we'll see if we can get this into a double at some point. Maybe we could run the board with this. But it being a stand-up walk-in double, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, okay, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. Another pitch in the dirt for Valdez. He's trying to throw that curveball, and a lot of them are kind of going in the dirt. You see Dusty Baker and roaming around in the dugout. They're on the phone into the bullpen.
We're at 103 pitches now?
Yeah, they're at 103 pitches. Montero, so Bohm grounds out to Pena at shortstop, but Castellanos goes to third now with 1 out.
Yes, sir. That's my guy.
Castellanos. I just kind of like saying his name. Castellanos.
You know, I used to say it wrong all the time. I used to say Castellanos. Yeah, that's
Castellanos. All right, so there you go. They are making a pitching change. Framber Valdez, 104 pitches tonight.
Dude, I'm behind you. Stop spoiling. No, I'm kidding.
He went 6 1/3, allowed 4 hits, 3 walks, and 9 strikeouts. He had 9 ground ball outs tonight.
Great day from him. And honestly, I don't even think it was the best performance you could have gotten out of him. And I think he did great. Like, I mean, obviously zeros is solid, but you know, I think he would have 1 earned run if this turns into something right here. But if they do give it to him, but I think it's going to be really interesting to see the second go around, if there is a second go around of him pitching in the World Series this year, because I'm curious to see if the velocity really is an issue or it's something that maybe he just went into this series and kind of understood, you know, we're going to make these guys chase. We're going to make these guys work for it, understanding that they are not a good team when it comes to, you know, off-speed stuff. So that's really what it comes to. And it's not that they're not a good team. Obviously, they're here. But some teams are just better than others at specific things. And, you know, the Phillies, you can definitely capitalize on them not really being able to hit a slider or a sinker or a cutter or like we said earlier, a cutter that sinks and a curve that cuts. And it's Valdez is something. Valdez is something of his own. He's in his own class.
Yeah, it's a fantastic night, and it's probably got to feel really good for him to get through this game in a much different way than he did last year's World Series in 2 outings, giving up 5 runs apiece. It's got to feel good for him to be able to do that. But now if you're Philly, you got Bohm, who's a right-hander, is facing Montero's right-hander. He hasn't played too well tonight, 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout. But now you've got 1 out and a runner on third. Even if you get a sac fly, and even if you get a sac fly, it should give you some confidence going into the next inning, assuming that you can hold the Astros at 5 runs.
Right.
I mean, you have to hope that Segura, Vierling, or Sosa, one of those guys can get on base, because then you can get back up to the top of the lineup with Schwarber, potentially Hoskins, depending on how this inning goes. But they're in a great position right now, the Phillies, as to make their storied comeback like they have so much in this postseason.
100%. I will say this though. Where's Brandon Marsh? It's the second Valdez came out. You need a guy like Marsh in there, an electrifying guy, somebody that you really want to see be able to just run the bases and honestly just be the star of the moment. So I would love to see Marsh get involved in this game sometime soon. I don't really know who he'd be taking the spot of at this very moment, but I would get him in as soon as possible.
Well, Marsh is a center fielder, and Vierling is up after Segura here. So if Marsh comes into the game, you could probably see him next up.
Come on, that's the MVP of the game, Craig.
That could be your MVP of the game.
We had Bregman and Marsh. That was Mike Hughes' picks. If you're just tuning in, man, I mean, this is gonna be dope. Can I go twofer tonight?
You go with twofer?
Who'd you have, Craig?
I said it'd be Rhys Hoskins for the Phillies. Segura hits it deep left field, right in in that little gap for the warning track. But it is a sac fly. The Phillies are on the board. Castellanos scores from third. So Phillies are now on the board, but with 2 outs in the 7th inning. 5-1.
Hey Craig, what kind of computer you have?
I got a HP. I have an HP Pavilion gaming laptop.
I need to get me one of those, because I was like looking at like the backdrop and everything you created, and I was like, Craig is so talented. I have a MacBook Air and I can't do anything.
I try to utilize this for just like, I have this computer only does podcasting and work. Like I don't do anything else on it.
Right.
So I try to keep all like the space clear and try to keep that. But yeah, I mean, gaming laptops are the way to go, especially for podcasting, or high-end MacBooks are also the way to go.
High-end MacBooks. So not a MacBook Air is what you're telling me?
I think a MacBook Air is I think that's their lower end, like so Samsung does Chromebooks, and they're like, I don't want to say cheap, because it's not, nothing about Mac is cheap.
They're cheap because Chicago Public Schools have a plethora of them, and they're horrible. They're awful.
There you go. But yeah, those are. Oh, so now we've got Maton is pinch hitting. Maton is pinch hitting for Vierling. So we didn't get to see Marsh, but this is Maton, who's a lefty, up against Montero, the righty.
I'm gonna tell you what, that's a bad decision. Maybe in the next few seconds I'll own that, but or I think that is a bad decision. You are looking at a guy right now, 255 home runs, 17 RBIs, 855 OPS. I mean,
but he's from Chatham, Illinois.
Oh, yeah. So he really sucks. No, I'm kidding.
Oh man, that's just bad luck.
100%. I mean, it's
Maton hit off the top part of the bat, and it went right into it went right into Bregman's hands. Third base. So Philly does get a run, but now middle of the 7th, they are still down 5-1. And now I'm wondering if we saw last inning, Bellotti was out there on the mound. I don't know if they're going to bring him back out for another inning, but we were just talking last inning when he was up that you have to try to get as much out of him as possible because you used so many arms out of your bullpen last night to, to make that comeback and win and steal game one, really. So we'll see what, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens when they come back from the break. And while they're on the break, we got a few people tuning in on the various different platforms we're watching from tonight. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, and of course, we're live on the Fox D Network, Tiki Live, and Roku. And you can find us on all the social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You can find them all on your screen here. Search ASAP Network on YouTube, at All Sports All Plays on Facebook, at ASAP Network 1 on Twitter, and at ASAP Network on Twitch. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the share button, and of course, comment. If you're watching the game tonight, comment on the stream with us. Let us know. Let us know what you're seeing in this game. We like to interact with everyone, answer questions, and then as well hear your takes about how the MLB postseason and this game has gone so far. We're just hanging out right now,
100%.
waiting for the next inning to come up.
And we just went live on Cubs.Mike TikTok because I'm sitting here right now with my guy Craig. I was gonna give Craig some love, but he took away his name, so I can't put out his Twitter. But follow my guy Craig on Twitter.
Oh, here you go.
Craig CJ Campbell, and that's Campbell in Chicago. You'll get a lot of guys who spell it different. CJ Campbell 30. My guy Craig does everything Michigan, does everything sports. I mean, I'm gonna put Craig in a box. Let me repeat that. I'm not gonna put Craig in a box. He does not just do everything Michigan. He does everything extremely well. That's my boy. That's my guy. The host of ASAP in the Morning. You can always check him out.
Yeah, ASAP in the Morning. We're live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon. We do see appearances from Mike Hughes on the show occasionally.
Man, I used to be on Craig. You don't even know, bro. Like before you came, me and Pride and I, pardon me. I'm a college man now. I need to be
sophisticated.
Correct. Sophisticated. I was gonna say illiterate, but that's the complete opposite.
Yeah, illiterate's the opposite.
But yeah, we used to be on there every single morning, and over the summer I was there all the time, and then just classes kick my ass, man.
Yeah, it'll do that.
And it makes me mad because I want to come see you, and then pause. I want to come see you, and then I'll go to my 8 a.m. and every single I feel like at least once or twice a week my 8 a.m. gets canceled, but it's not a canceled like, hey, I'm gonna send you an email. It's a hey, show up and find out on your own that class is canceled. Yeah, then she'll text later. Oh, my bad. It got lost in the drafts and it never sent. Like, I don't care. Are you paying my gas? Then it's still your bad. Like, sorry. Let me pop off on Miss Knutson real quick. But you know what, Craig? I might be on this Thursday. Because I go to Chicago public schools and I go to a community college. So that means Wednesday we might be going on strike. So I might not have school for a very long time because teachers want to argue. So we'll see. But if that's the case, that's fine by me. Don't.
I like so. All right. So now the bottom of the 7 comes up. We got some substitutions. Brandon Marsh is in center field, and they got Brogdon out on the mound right now.
Craig, let me ask you, what is the difference between giving Marsh the opportunity to bat versus waiting to put him in at the bottom of the 7? Do you see that being a strategic move at all because of how well Marsh has been doing? I would have personally let him get the at-bat.
Yeah, I mean, they must have thought that in that position,
lefty versus righty.
Yeah, they wanted Maton because Maton hasn't had a ton of at-bats this postseason
at all
that I've seen. And you got to think that they felt that Maton was the better pick in that position. I mean, not having watched the Phillies through the entirety of the season as much, it's, I don't know the day-to-day behind, what who's better at facing certain pitchers, because maybe that matchup of Maton versus Montero in the types of pitches that Montero throws, maybe they felt that Maton was a better pick because he hits that type of pitcher better. But regardless, so we got a base hit. Altuve gets up and he's got a base hit single into right field, and that's his third hit of the game. He started awful this postseason, and now this World Series, here comes Altuve. Man, that was at his face.
Good.
That fastball was legit at his chin, and he just came up and right up at his face.
Okay, but I don't want to hear
That's
that, Craig,
impressive.
because the man is like 5'7". So, in all serious, I'm not even trying to be a dick, but like, in all seriousness, it's not. I wouldn't say
Short strike zone.
Yeah, it's not too intentional, you know. Like that's at Aaron Judge's chest. Let's be real.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be too hurt about it. The Chicago Bulls. Fuck. What the fuck? My bad. Chicago Bulls lose 114-109 to the Philadelphia 76ers for the fifth year in a row.
And in other news too, Michigan State. Michigan's up 29-7 early in the fourth quarter. Blake Corum, a guy who I said would be a Heisman candidate, Big Ten Player of the Year candidate, has 149 yards on the ground and a touchdown.
It's insane. It's insane, man. You see my guys in Tennessee. Go Volunteers, by the way.
Tennessee's. I gotta give Hooker a huge amount of credit, because I think he started his career at Virginia Tech.
Yeah.
And he transferred in. Then they brought in Heupel from UCF, and UCF had really weirdly high expectations for him when he came in. It didn't really go well, and Heupel came into Tennessee, and he's turned that program around. I give him a lot of credit.
100%. And it's one of those things. And again, giving them all of the platforms that I can. In Off the Bench podcast, they do amazing work with all things Tennessee, all things college sports, and Jim Cross, Randy Jowers, DB, everybody. But they've been there from the beginning, watching Tennessee sports really come into its own. I mean, we're talking from women's basketball, men's basketball, football now, and obviously baseball had one of the best college baseball teams in a regular season ever put together last year, and some of the most first round, second round picks to ever come out of a draft from one school. I mean, it's been great watching Tennessee get back on the map, and they have an amazing fan base to go along with it. I mean, it's so much fun. So much fun.
Yeah, Tennessee, they're showing right now, Dusty Baker has the most wins without a World Series championship, and it's by a long shot.
47.
Well, the next graphic got him. That was a terrible throw by Real Muto. And I mean, Segura, I think Segura got that.
Dusty looks pissed. Dusty has 2,093. That is insane. Second closest is 1,902.
That's what I was saying. It's not by a long shot. Oh, yeah, he had him.
A large margin. That is crazy. Who's the other one? Is that
Buck Showalter's one?
Mm-hmm.
And then I forget who number 2 was, but Segura came over from second and caught a really. I always find that interesting. Coming from second base, he's coming opposite way as the ball's kind of being thrown. He got it and had a chance to tag out Altuve. They did not challenge, and then now there's a fly out into center field. So Brandon Marsh gets the out.
My guy
from Jeremy Pena hit a high fastball out to deep center field. So now you've got Brogdon, 9 pitches and 2 outs. So
it's exactly what you wanted. It's exactly what you wanted.
Yeah, you got a chance here.
Craig, I want to ask you though, from an offensive perspective, really, what do you need to see from the Phillies in order to really just drive the board up like you did in Game 1?
I mean, knowing who's about to come up, I think who's up next?
It's end of the order, or close to top
Sosa?
of the order, right?
Yeah, I think Sosa's up next. Yeah, because Maton was the pinch hitter.
Right. So
So
Sosa and then
Sosa,
top.
I mean, if Schwarber has shown that he's been able to get on base already today, so I'm not too worried about him. But Sosa's got to get some sort of confidence at the plate. Maybe it is the pitching change, not having Valdez in there now. But Sosa's he's got to get on base somehow.
For sure.
I think you got to start that inning off the right way. And then it sets the table for hopefully Schwarber either gets on base via walk, single. He is 1 for 2 tonight. And then let Rhys Hoskins, if they get both guys on base and Hoskins comes up to bat, I think that's an opportunity they could make this a game.
Mhm.
Rhys Hoskins maybe hits a home run. Now you got 4-5 in the bottom of the 7th.
Is that just because you
top of the
picked
8th, I mean.
Hoskins?
What's that?
Is that just because you picked Hoskins tonight? You couldn't have said that maybe Harper hits it?
100% because I picked Rhys Hoskins.
100%. I'll tell you what. I'll do you one better, sir. I'm gonna break it down for you. Here's what goes down. So tie up the game, right? It's about maybe 4-5. Everybody's on base. Here comes Brandon Marsh, top of the 8th. Let's do it, Craig. Let's run up the board. So I'll give you that. I'm gonna say Hoskins hits his little home run. Maybe it's 4 or 5 Astros. Then here comes a couple guys getting on base. Boom. Brandon Marsh, grand slam, wins the game. Philly 2-0 going into Philly.
That'd be huge because now now being the end of the 7th, Alvarez struck out swinging.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've got Sosa, Schwarber, Hoskins up. And if you can it'll be the top of the 8th. So if you get all the way down to Brandon Marsh, that means you've gotten a few runs and you're either still in the top of the 8th and you've scored a lot and now you've taken the lead, or you're in the top of the 9th and you've got maybe a few guys on base. Yeah. So it's possible.
Craig, I will get off this live so quick if Brandon Marsh hits a grand slam. I will get off this live so quick. I will not know how to act. Excuse me.
I will ask you to go pick up a lottery ticket for me.
Really quick, if you guys are still watching this, whether you're on the ASAP Network or you're on Cubs.Mike TikTok right now, definitely give us a follow on ASAP Network Sports on YouTube, All Sports, All Plays on Facebook, ASAP Network 1, because ASAP Network was taken on Twitter, ASAP Network on Twitch, and you can also find Craig at CJ Campbell. That's CAMPBELL 30. That's my guy, Craig. You can always find Craig. He does amazing content on ASAP in the morning and just in his own stuff and his off time. Craig is one of the best doing it right now. If you aren't already, Cubs.Mike or Mike on the Mike podcast, the All Sports, All Plays Network, always doing things, giving you all up-to-date Cubs baseball and just baseball as a whole, because Craig is a Detroit Tigers fan, unfortunately. But we love Craig. We still love Craig. And that's all I got. That's all I got for you guys right now.
Yeah, it's tough being a Detroit sports fan right now.
Yeah, I think we hold hands. We hold hands, Craig. Yeah. There's levels to it, though. I feel like, once basketball turns on, me and you just stop holding hands, and I'm like Jordan era, and I just walk off. But it really is. It is. We're in the same boat, bro.
Yeah, I think. And you're talking about basketball season. Chicago's trying to make a push for the playoffs and try to push for positioning in the Central Division.
Yep.
The Pistons right now are still in rebuild mode.
Would you say you're still in rebuild mode?
The Pistons, absolutely. They're not in any. If everything goes well and they play well this year, they might make a play-in game. And I'm saying that's
where I was at with it. Like, I think they have everybody that they're going to need for the future. I really do. I think they're at that point. And unfortunately, Miles Bridges was Miles Bridges, and you couldn't have added that. But I think you have the core. I think the core is up, and they're here. I think they just need to develop.
We're just missing one piece. We're missing Victor.
Stop it.
If we can get Victor, watch out. This
think
league's in
everybody
trouble.
feels that way. Everybody feels that, hey, we get fucking Victor, bro. It's over.
But I mean, we'd have Victor, Cade Cunningham, and Jaden Ivey.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
And
nasty
don't forget,
three.
you got Dennis Rodman 2.0 and Isaiah Stewart. I mean, that kid's emotionally just insane. So
He's gotta learn how to set screens. He's so bad at that.
I think he's such a defensive minded guy that I just look at him and I'm like, you are going to lose your playing position the second this team feels that they are ready to play. Like when they're ready to make a playoff push, Isaiah Stewart will not be on this team at this very moment.
They've already through 6 or 7 games already. Jalen Duren, who they got in the late end of the lottery out of Memphis, dude, he looks like a stud already in the first couple weeks of the season.
They had Kelly too, didn't they? Olynyk?
They traded him to Utah for Bojan Bogdanovic. Bojan's a guy that they traded in that fire sale that the Utah Jazz had. And
Damien's coming at you, Greg. Damien's coming at you.
Bojan already right now.
He's coming at your homeland.
Leading the Dwayne Casey does. He's part of the problem.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Dwayne Casey can't figure out rotations still a couple years into knowing what this team has. And defensively, I don't know what they're teaching defensively, but that's not it. No. Whatever it is, it's not it.
I feel like defense is so different now, like, and especially with basketball and baseball, like it is so fundamentally sound. There does not need to be like, here's the secret that nobody's been doing for years. Like, bro, it's the same shit. Practice what you preach. And it's the same thing as college. It's just a little bit more faster. It's literally all it is. And for guys to completely just miss on that, I feel like what a lot of guys do, and I know we're about to come out of our commercial break, so I'm not going to take too long on it. But I know we're out of our commercial break, actually.
Yeah. So, fuck it. So Bryce Stott is now pinch hitting for Bryson Stott, that is. Bryson Stott is pinch hitting for Sosa. It's a 2-2 count, and then you got Schwarber up. So I think that's a good move already. I like the move to put Stott in the game. He had a pretty solid game 1.
100%. I was actually questioning why he wasn't in the lineup today. But obviously Valdez, it's a pitching matchup. Yeah. But sometimes I think the pitching matchups, and I think that's a big part of the shift that's going to change, is the pitching matchups are going to change as well, because it just leaves it for it to be, it's athlete versus athlete at the end of the day. There's nobody has higher ground here. I think that's going to be big going into 2023.
Yeah, and Bryson Stott, I mentioned that he had a big game. The big game is he drew 2 walks.
Yeah,
that's the big part. He was 0 for 3, but he did draw 2 walks. Like that's a big thing, that if you want to beat the Astros, especially when you're down 5-1 in the top of the 8th inning, you just got to get base runners and then let guys like Schwarber, Real Muto, Hoskins, Harper, then let them clean the bases. You got to have everybody else get on base first. It's like the Yankees situation. The Yankees, Judge had 62 home runs, but of those, how many of those were solo shots? A lot of them.
Yeah, without a doubt. Without a doubt, RBIs are everything in this game. And, that's like a big thing we don't even talk about too, is like guys like Jose Abreu, guys like, and let's even throw his name out there, guys like Javier Baez, 17 home runs on the year. How many RBIs did he have? And a big part of that is because guys can't get on base. So, I think a lot of the game is going to change moving forward, and it is going to be for the better. I think it's going to be a very stat-driven league, to where everybody's like, wow, look at the jump between 2022 versus, so on and so forth. Guys who were batting 205 are now batting 246. Guys 246 are now batting almost 300. Like, it's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Montero's got Stott in a full count and walks him. So that's exactly what you want. If you're Philly, you got Stott in there, pinch hit. He drew 2 walks in game 1. Now he gets a walk at the top of the 8th, and you got Schwarber coming up at the plate. Schwarber is he's 1 for 2. 1 for 2 so far in this game. And he's drawn some walks himself. So you got a possibility here.
100%.
So he's got a single and a walk, 1 for 2. This postseason, he's 220, 3 home runs, and 6 RBI.
I'm so behind on my stream right now, bro. Strout is still up. We got, what do we got right now? Schwarber's up?
Yeah, Schwarber's up. Montero's having a hard time finding the strike zone right now because he had, when Stott was up, it was a 12-pitch at bat. And he got him the last couple of pitches of that 12-pitch at bat were both balls. So got him walk, and then Maldonado just went out to talk to Montero for a minute. So yeah, you got Schwarber. Schwarber right now looking down a hitter's count. First 2 pitches were fastballs, 97 and 96 by Montero.
It's exactly what guys have been missing all game long. I feel like this is a moment where, you don't have to worry about the stuff from Montero at the exact moment. He can't really key in and really find his stride, but you got to go for it. You got to go for it 110%. It's going to be really interesting right now to see a guy like Schwarber specifically, to really see Jim Boyle.
That's a name I haven't heard in a long time.
You mean Jim Boylan or Jim Boyle?
I think he means Boylan, right?
Oh, die. Jim Boylan. Not you, Damien. I love Damien. Please don't die. I mean Jim Boylan. Die.
Whew.
Oh, Jim Boylan.
So Schwarber got himself into a 2-0 count. Montero threw a fastball high in the zone, 96.
96, yeah.
And
right
Schwarber
outside.
just missed it. He just missed it.
100%. I mean, I think it's really a conversation with Schwarber right now. I wanted to ask you too, like, is Kyle being too patient at the plate? What you've seen the first couple games in the World Series?
And he just got a second strike, 97 on the inside corner. So it's 2-2 to Schwarber. I would say no, because if he was less patient, he might not have had as many walks, because you mentioned like he got himself into like a 0-2, 1-2 hole, and he had to fight his way back to full counts. He had to fight his way back into counts. So I think he's being the right amount of patient.
Right.
Oh, he just got under that. Get out back. Yep, that's out. All right. So it was a foul ball.
Mm-hmm. I also think, the difference, you could see the difference between somebody's game. I've seen, and throughout the years, I've seen Kyle Schwarber been playing in the majors since 2015, 2014. So, you've seen him from batting second, third, fourth, fifth, all the way down. But at the leadoff spot, I feel like it's so interesting for Kyle, because I don't typically think he should be your leadoff guy. I really don't. I think right now he's just the guy, like you said, who is the most patient at the plate so far. And it's really interesting to see his game kind of be able to develop into any kind of guy. You could put him anywhere.
Yeah, I agree. I was very surprised to see him at the leadoff spot. Oh, that was so close.
I love Schwarbs, man.
Or did he hit it? Did he hit it out? They called it a home run. They called it a 2-run shot.
Schwarbino with a home run shot, 2-run blast. Phillies.
When I saw that, I thought it bent around the pole, but I couldn't tell if it was. I couldn't tell.
100%. 3-5. Phillies still down, but Schwarber with the bomb.
All the umpires are meeting right now. Fans that they were showing in the stands on that around the pole.
I think it's good.
I can't tell. I thought it looked foul, but you can't tell.
I feel like the reason, look at the Astros fans going like this.
I know. Okay, I think it might be foul, because from that angle, it doesn't look, I don't know.
I'm going to say it's a fair ball. I need a better angle, but
they took the runs off the board.
At this very moment, 403 feet, 111 mile per hour off the bat. I mean, that's Schwarber right there. That is exactly what you want to see from him. And that's also a position, I think it's a conversation of why you don't want him leading off. Like, that's a whole different conversation if he's batting 5th or 6th in the lineup right now behind Bryce and Castellanos.
Yeah. So they did call it a foul ball.
Toxic.
It looked close. So this is okay. Here's the best angle. Yeah, that's definitely a foul ball. It's barely foul.
Barely? Oh, man.
Barely foul. But
it's a game of inches, bro. It's a game of inches.
Yep. So now they're going to go back 2-2 count. These guys in the stands are on the phone because they just realized they were on TV.
That's so
Their
dope.
buddies are all calling them.
That's so dope, bro.
Dude, you were just on national TV, man.
Dude, and the best part is, like, look at their seats. And I'm not dissing anybody, but those seats are probably one of the cheapest in the ballpark because it's so high up. And now they had a whole segment on TV. Play chess, not checkers, kids. You don't have to be behind home plate.
That's right.
Personally, me, Craig, I don't know how you feel about it either, but I love being up top. I always sit 305, 306, just because you get a full view of the field, and I just love that.
I think it depends on the ballpark, because, like, did he just do it again? He just do it again? No. Wow.
Still foul?
No, it was caught at the warning track by Tucker.
Sure.
It looked like it had a chance to go, and Tucker was standing literally back against the wall and just went right to him. Man, that's gotta hurt for Phillies fans, because that's back-to-back pitches that he turned on it.
That's where it is. And that's, we were just talking about him not being aggressive enough. And that's where Schwarber can just turn it on sometimes. And I love that about him. I don't mean to sound like I'm literally like flipping a coin on how my stance on Kyle right now, but I just feel like at the leadoff spot, I want to see him aggressive like that. I don't want to see him waiting for his pitch. I want to see him out there doing his thing. But Thompson really is getting the best version of Schwarber I've seen in a long time. At the plate, I mean, he is so disciplined, but still doing stuff like this, and the same at bat at that too. It's really interesting to see him being able to turn that corner, because, like, personally, I know there's a lot of guys that can't do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I think Bryce is one of them. I'm not trying to hit any names, but Bryce is one of them. I feel like has a hard time, very hard time. And our both of our good friends, Javier Baez, ask that man to be disciplined at the plate is like asking that man to, I don't even know, find the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, Javier Baez trying to ask him to be disciplined at the plate. That's like trying to ask. That's like trying to put a fish in the desert and tell it to survive.
100%.
It's not going to happen.
I like that one better. Craig and I are going to be here all week, ladies and gentlemen. We have great jokes all day long.
Yeah. Great jokes. Hoskins swing and misses at a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And then the very next pitch, the slider at the bottom of the zone, called strike. So now Hoskins is down. It's a 1-2 count, 1 out. And your runner, Stott, is still on first in the 5-1 ball game.
Schwarber would have changed his whole ball game.
It would have. Honestly, if that comes up, home run, 3-5 ball game.
And you know
Hoskins at the plate, back to back.
Too. I think it's one of those conversations where it changes the next game as well. Because if it's 3-5, you have to make a bullpen decision. Not even going into the 9th, going into the 8th, finishing off the 8th.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would change. I think that would change a lot.
Ladies and gentlemen, check this out. Check how quick Craig is at updating the score and updating the outs. I mean, the man, 2 outs, runner on first. Craig, shout out to Craig for producing and also hosting tonight's show. Craig, also, I did want to say I appreciate you having me on, bro, and also taking the reins of being in charge, because it's a hard life, man. It's not enough credit goes into what Craig offers to this program.
Hey, it's very difficult to do it alone, and I know we've talked about doing some stuff like this for a couple weeks now, so it's fun. I appreciate you being on, because it definitely helps make the entire show. Oh no, it helps make the entire show better. So Altuve and Pena, miscommunication. Altuve thought, so it was a ground ball to Pena. Altuve thought Pena was going to throw to first because there's 2 outs. And Pena flips it to Altuve, who's not looking and not even standing upright.
My
and
guy,
so now Stott goes to third.
my guy Alan Bratcher from the Tape Never Lies Network just messaged me. Actually, I just got the text from him. He goes, "That dude effed up," and I know exactly what he's talking about too. That's awesome. Shout out Alan Bratcher. Shout out Tape Never Lies. They do great stuff over there, breaking down football all the time. They're just great.
Yeah, shout out to them. So now you've got Bryce Harper up. He's over 3 for the night. He's had a line out, a strikeout, and grounded to double play. But it's 5-1, top of the 8th, 2 outs, runners on first and third. And the first pitch is inside. So, I mean, this is your opportunity right here. If you're Philly, you got to take your shot.
Oh, Craig, I just saw it. That's awesome. He literally look.
You just saw it now.
Look at Jose. Jose's waiting. He's like, man, this ball is about to come in hot, and he sees it blue. He's like, oh no.
Yep. This is your chance. If you're gonna take a haymaker swing.
Oh, I definitely. This is not a stay disciplined swing. This is not an at bat where you're like, all right, I'll take my walk. Or actually, is Castellanos up after him?
Yes.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Be patient.
Castellanos he's 1 for 3 with a run.
I think,
but Harper's got himself into a 2-0 count. So Montero has to pitch to him. So I'm looking, if I'm Harper, if it's anywhere in the zone, I'm swinging for the fences here.
I think so too, but I also think it's a conversation where Nick needs his moment.
And he just did. He tried. It was a 97-mile-an-hour fastball up in the zone, and Harper went for it. He just missed it.
Man, I want Harper to have his moment so bad.
I do too.
Like, I'm going to be honest with you, and I want your opinion. Did you used to not like Bryce Harper?
Yeah, I think just the way he was portrayed.
Yeah,
he was a young star that got thrust into the spotlight at 19. Nope. Uh-oh. Wow.
It's unfortunate.
Bryce Harper had a chance. He had a fly ball to right field. Tucker, Pena, and Altuve all running towards it. And Pena was the one that came up with it, but there was almost a collision in right field. So they had an opportunity.
Look at his helmet. They're doing the replay right now of Bryce hacking at that first one that was up on the shelf. And look at his helmet just completely. If if he didn't have that chin guard, it would have just spun completely.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will say that's on Tucker, though. I'm watching it right now. That is on Tucker on almost causing that collision. He came in way too hot, way too aggressively. I love the way Castellanos does it. One, because I know he doesn't want to. And two, because he's very cautious of stuff like that. I mean, I've seen Dexter Fowler and Kyle Schwarber with collisions before. It's a crazy environment, especially when you have that infielder in there who's not used to really being that deep into the outfield. I mean, it's a totally different ball game, especially, they're coming into it as a receiver, kind of like a wide receiver in football. You're kind of looking over the back shoulder, kind of coming up. You're not paying attention to Kyle Tucker, who's flying at you 1,000,000 miles a minute. That's a rookie move. I think that's a rookie move.
Well, I would actually argue that's, even though they had the shift, Pena was the one that he made the most difficult catch potential of the 3.
Oh, for sure.
That's on Kyle Tucker to tell Pena to that's mine. Get away. Like,
right.
That's Tucker's. That's easier, a much easier catch for Tucker. Thankfully for the Astros, Pena did come up with the catch, but I mean, that's 2 potential errors he could have made in almost back-to-back plays. And that would have really, I think, turned the momentum of this game.
For sure. I mean, I think, and someone who played outfield, it's a difficult conversation when you're in left. And I'll tell you right now, Craig, from firsthand, I'm going to watch my language. But when I was in right field versus left field, when a second baseman tells you it's mine, you're like, get the fuck out of here. When a shortstop tells you it's mine, you're like, ah. All right. I'll think about it. And then you look at your center fielder and you're like, you got me, right, bro? And he's like, nah. And I'm
He's like, nah, man.
He's like, nah, man, it's all good. I'm like, Michigan won. Damn. Yes, sir.
Yep. 29-7. They won at home. And hey, there's no place like the big house.
You were waiting all night for that one, Craig.
I was. I had to represent Michigan somehow. I've got them represented right up here too, above my head.
I love that.
Yeah, I got to add some more memorabilia to my backdrop here.
Hey, Craig, I got a comment on the TikTok right now. It says, "Give me your all-time Yankees for an edit." I was gonna mute it and respond. That's what I've been doing in between. But I want your take on it as well while I think of it. Your all-time Yankees. Let's do top 5 because we're in a commercial break right now. Top 5 Yankees all time.
Oh goodness, top 5 Yankees.
And does the judge make the list?
I don't think he makes the list right now because while he does have a lot of records in the stat book right now, he's got no rings.
Right.
I don't think he's up there. I would say top Yankees, Jeter, Rivera. I would even say, I mean, you got a lot of greats too. You got,
right. I think I got mine. If you want me to go, I can let you sit on it. For me, I think Rivera, Jeter, Mantle, DiMaggio, and here's where I'm gonna get a little toxic. I don't want you to kill me. I would take Gehrig over the Babe.
I can't hate that.
Right.
I mean, Babe Ruth is Babe Ruth, but
right.
I love it. I think you're the one that had said it a few times on the morning show, and I tend to agree. Look at the competition these guys played against.
Right.
Babe Ruth literally played against guys that had other jobs. They weren't unless you were of a certain nationality, you were then allowed to play baseball at that time.
Right.
It would be way different if Babe Ruth got to play against the best competition in the United States, which at the time,
and not just the United States, worldwide.
At the time, it could be argued that there were some teams in the Negro leagues that were better than major league teams, like by far.
By miles. And you look at I hate the conversation, especially with the Negro leagues, where everybody's like, oh, well, the stats were, they were cheated or they were gypped or they weren't accurate. Bro, shut the fuck up. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. You just don't believe it because you look at the time and you go, okay, well, in the MLB, they weren't doing that. So it obviously can't be accurate. No, it can. It definitely can. Like Shohei Ohtani's, the Fernando Tatis Jr.'s, no matter how you feel about that. And the Manny Machado's, everybody around the world, those guys coming from all different places. And I believe Manny's actually from California. So like even bringing in the American-born guys, Bryce Harper's, the Manny Machado's, they're coming from all over. So me looking at the Babe, like I said, the MLB was a club sport back in those days. I'm not going to sit here and say it wasn't. It was. They're still talented, but they are not the way Shohei Ohtani was developed in a lab the way he was in Japan. Also, I want to say shout out Luke Gehrig, 1934 Triple Crown winner, 49 home runs, 166 RBIs, and a 363 batting average. So anybody who hates me for that, suck it.
Yeah, I can't argue with that list. I mean,
I would say maybe Rivera. Maybe Rivera you could put in the Babe. Maybe. And that's just how you view relievers.
Yeah, it depends on how you look at them. But I mean, when you have, and that's something that we don't see a ton of, I don't think, in my opinion, anymore, is a guy like a Mariano Rivera where he's in, it's game over. It's a shutdown. You got a shutdown closer.
Craig, somebody said, no Alex Rodriguez. No.
No. Maybe. So knowing that you're on TikTok, you probably have a younger generation of
I got a lot of young guys. I got some old heads on here too, though. I got mad respect for them. I didn't mean to call y'all old heads. I didn't. Y'all know what I meant. Y'all know.
Honestly, if you got like, all right, so I just turned 35 last week.
Old head,
right?
No, I'm kidding.
A couple days ago, and I really, Like,
Happy birthday, Craig, by the way.
I stopped caring. I stopped caring if someone calls me old head anymore. I don't really care.
I love it. I love it. Happy belated birthday, by the way, Craig. I love you.
Thank you. Appreciate it, man.
I would not. Never mind. I'll message you about what I was about to say, but
okay.
it definitely has something to do with the morning show and my availability. But when I see, all I'm gonna say is when I see Craig on there, I'm like, I'm fucking there.
Yeah, I won't be there Thursday. I have vet appointments for my dogs that day. That's the only day that could get me scheduled. So
I thought we were dogs, though, bro. That's crazy.
We are dogs, though.
That's crazy.
I'm talking about my physical dogs,
That's
real
crazy.
dogs.
Wow, your real dogs. That's what.
Yeah, my physical dogs.
This has been Mike Hughes with Mike on the mic. Somebody said, "Got the split. That's all you need if you're the Phils." No, 100%.
Absolutely.
100%. Absolutely. Yeah. Craig, if you don't mind, if going into that, you kind of said earlier, what the main goal was going into Houston.
Yeah, absolutely. That main goal is whenever you don't have home field advantage, if you can steal a game on the road, and that's exactly what the Phillies did in game 1. They threw everything they had at the Astros to steal game 1. And now regardless of the outcome here, as Brad Hand's in the game and we got Gurriel flies out to left field to end the 8th inning.
Let's do it. Rally time.
It doesn't matter now for the Phils if you lose this game, because you did what you wanted to do, which is steal a game. Now you have home field advantage. You're going to have a travel day off, and now it's game on. I mean,
Craig and I are about to finish off 9 innings of 6-run baseball, and only one of those runs being the Phillies. We need Brandon Marsh with a grand slam right now in the top of the 9th. I'm manifesting it. It's going to happen.
That would mean
insane.
This would mean, well, it can't be a grand slam, but
it can.
You got Castellanos up,
okay,
and then Bohm, and then Segura.
Okay. So you tell me why it can't.
Oh yeah. No, I thought Castellanos was the last batter. That's my bad.
It's okay. It happens. You know what? You slip so often. It's okay. It's a pass.
You say I slip so often?
You slips. Oh no. What are you trying to say? See, I just slipped.
Right. I think you mean to say I don't slip that often.
Don't slip so often. Okay, but there was a way I wanted to say that just sounded so clean, and now this is what happens when you're on live television. So, yeah.
But yeah, you got a chance to get your wish here.
I think
if Castellanos, Bohm, and Segura can all get on base, Marsh could be the hero that you said he could be at the beginning of this broadcast.
Y'all don't want to see y'all going fuck up if
I want to see it.
If Brandon Marsh hits a grand slam, you're just gonna see Craig in silence for about 5 minutes because I'm gonna go insane. I'm not even a fan of this team.
Don't even mute yourself either. Everyone's gotta see that.
I muted the first screech, but
you did.
I went upstairs. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, I left my mic again. And then she was like, oh.
So Damien's got an interesting
go for it.
Ooh, here.
CC. Hey, wait,
CC.
really quick. Before we get into that, have you seen CC now?
He was on the pregame show and he's skinny, dude. He lost a ton of weight.
Best shape of his life. But what do you think goes into that? Why do you think he carried that weight for so long? Do you think he used that to his advantage? You think he could still throw? I mean this in a respectful way. Do you think he could throw the way he did before if he was the weight he is now?
I think when you do so for somebody like him, and this goes with anything, and look at to a very lesser extent, look at how offensive linemen do in the NFL. They have to have that weight. But
look at Kyle Long now. It's insane.
When you have such drastic weight loss, you have to change things about how you move, and I mean things about your body. So for CC Sabathia, I think if he lost that much weight while he was playing, he would have had to have changed his mechanics to some degree.
Right.
Because you're not used to that. You're used to how you walk around. And maybe because he felt like he was a high level athlete that, he didn't have to really change much because he's like, I can go out there and still throw aces. But when he got done, like when your playing career is over, especially as you get older, you have to be a lot more mindful of how you take care of your body, how you eat. So hey, kudos to him for losing a ton of weight and looking great. But I think it really would have changed his mechanics big time if he would have done it in his playing career.
Could have messed up his career. But back to that, Damian said Babe Ruth, I always mess up his name, CC Sabathia, Mariano Rivera, Derek Jeter, and Giancarlo Michael Stanton. I always still call him Michael. Craig, I'm petty. You were Michael when I met you. You're Michael forever.
Yeah, I don't know. I saw that when he changed his name. I was like, oh, okay, that's
like
whatever. But
like Darius Leonard, I was talking about him on a show, and somebody was like, "Who's that?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And I looked his name. He changed his name to Shaq, and I was like, "Okay, you're still Darius, but
you're still Darius Leonard.
Pop off. I could change my name to Craig, and I promise you, no one's calling me Craig on the mic."
Right? It's just it's got a different flow to it. It just doesn't really work.
Craig on the camera. Craig on the camera.
So we got top of the ninth. Castellanos is up to 2-2 count. Presley's now in the game for the Astros.
Oh, let's do it. Let's rock and roll right now, Craig. We're on here.
Let's do it.
Even if it's like a 2-run blast, I just need it. Brandon Marsh.
He just needs it. We need it.
Need me some Marsh.
So Montero ended up getting 33 pitches through an inning and 2/3 and got one. He allowed one hit, had one strikeout, one walk.
And that is exactly what we kind of talked about when he first came in. We said, he could be one of those guys who maybe not on every team, but on a team like the Detroit Tigers or a team like the Chicago Cubs, he can make that starting 5 rotation, kind of be your 5th guy from time to time. Not all the time, but from time to time, he can go deep. And he did exactly that. And that was insane for him to be able to do that.
Yeah. Presley gets Castellanos swinging on a changeup. And the Phillies are now down to 2 outs. They got 2 outs left.
Damn it, Nick. Come on, Nick. Be better. Killing Brandon Shine right now. Now it has to be a 3-run blast. Come on.
Yep. So now Bohm, who is 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout tonight at the plate. Hasn't really had a great postseason at the plate. He's hitting under 200, 7 RBI. And they call a strike on the inside corner. That little borderline of a call.
Bulls lose. Michigan State loses. This guy's sad about Michigan State losing. Well, I hate to break it to you, but Craig is a Michigan fan, so we're going to skip that one. But yeah, Bulls lose again.
I mean, Michigan State is not their season at now 3-5 losing tonight against Michigan. It's not a season that they expected to have in the preseason, but I mean, when Michigan's playing the way that they are and Michigan State has played as poorly as they have, those rivalry games, you can tend to throw the records out, but Michigan's just playing way too well in all facets of the game right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Bohm got a caught of a curveball, and it's off the wall. He's going to run into second with a sliding double. Oh,
I love to see it.
Altuve almost caught him.
If Altuve ever caught me, I would be so upset. I'd be so mad. You ever see the picture of him standing next to Aaron Judge? It is insane. It is insane.
Is it like the picture of Shaq and Kevin Hart?
Let me pull it up for you.
It's basically what it is.
Altuve next to that's the first. If you write Altuve next, that is the first thing that pops up.
Altuve next to Judge.
Here, I'm looking it up for you right now.
This is wild. They're so different. And it's so
crazy.
So Altuve is like he's like my height. I'm like 5'6.5".
See, I'm like 5'7", 5'8".
Yeah.
Well, actually, you know what, Craig? My girl always tells me to stop lying to y'all. I'm like 5'7", but with shoes, I'm 5'8".
Yeah, see, I'm the same way. It's like I say I'm 5'7", and my wife gives me a hard time. She's like, "You're not 5'7". Like, just let me have that extra inch.
Like, we have kids.
Awesome.
Like, why can't you just support me?
Wish we had the Chicago Rush. Is that the indoor football team?
The Chicago Rush. Oh my God, I haven't heard.
Do you remember that the Arena Football League?
It's one of those things where it's like, you like them, but no one really cares. So the Chicago Rush right now, they're a soccer club. They're pretty solid, but I mean, I do remember the Chicago Rush being a football team. Like that was what it was, and now it's a soccer team. But
the Arena Football League is still around in some capacity.
Yeah,
but there's so many like indoor football leagues now. It's crazy.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. Ooh,
they are fun to attend.
I just got the jitters. I don't know why. I think of Brandon Marsh is giving me the jitters.
Well, Segura's got a 2-2 count.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Get on base. Get on base for me.
And then Brandon Marsh is on next.
Hey, Craig. Double play ends the game. Brandon Marsh. I'm gonna be like, God. The comments are gonna be ruthless on Twitter tomorrow or tonight. It's Saturday, so we're gonna have a lot of people on Twitter tonight. Somebody said Illinois played well. Yeah, man, they're playing very well. It's super exciting.
Segura flies out to right field. So now Bohm's stranded on second. You got 2 outs. Brandon Marsh is up, and it is your last opportunity for the Phillies.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Did you see did you see the Joe Tucker version? He said they were on the plane and Joe Tucker, they were recording him. He goes, "Yo, Lamar said we're doing high knees in aisle 5. Yeah. Ravens flock, let's fly." And I was like, wow.
Dude, Tucker was hilarious. He goes, "Yeah, Lamar's leading us in high knees." And he goes, "Ravens flock, let's fly." Ravens and everybody just dies laughing.
Let's fly. I was like, what a jerk.
All right, let's see if Marsh has got it. Ooh, first pitch. First pitch, down and in. Ball 1.
Pretty solid. Honestly, though, with Marsh not playing all night, I feel like that was a solid pitch you could potentially get him to chase on. But Marsh is that guy. He is him, so he's not going to.
He is.
Do you see Altuve fucking around with his glove right now? Like, was that just me that saw that? Like, I know you're a little ahead of me, but he's literally just playing catch with his glove in the background.
Like the small child that he is. Oh! Off his glove. Bohm scores.
B. Marsh!
Brandon Marsh got a double. I think that was, I don't know if they're going to list that as an error.
Come on, Craig. Tell me, Craig, who did we have today? Who did we have today?
You said Brandon Marsh.
And Alex Bregman. Let's go, baby. We're here. We're live on the All Sports, All Plays Network, where I know everything except the parlays because I missed on all my parlays today.
That is off Gariel's glove, so I'll be interested to see if they rule that as an error. It looks like they did rule it an error.
I don't care, baby. Marsh is Marsh. Let's do it. Let's ride. Ravens flock. Let's fly.
Ravens flock. Let's fly.
Ravens flock. Let's fly.
All right. So Philly's got a chance here.
What is that? 2-5?
You got Stott. Yeah, it's 5-2 now. Top of the 9, 2 outs. And Stott is up. Stott drew a walk in a pinch hit opportunity on his first plate appearance. And then you got Schwarber next.
You know, I will say, though, that is somewhat of a hard play to make at first. Charging it the way he did. Man, I fucking love Brandon Marsh. I'm getting, I was going to tell you, at the beginning of the year, I went into, do you have a Marshalls out in Michigan? Do you have Marshalls?
Yeah.
So there was a Phillies sweater. I think I showed you a picture of it. I got it for like $10 and it's holding its relevance a lot. So for $10, it's nice. But I was like, man, I really want to get one of the powder blue ones. I think they're sick. But I think I might get a Marsh one. I was going to get a Schwarbs, but I might get a Marsh.
And Bryson Stott grounds out to Altuve. And that's it. This game is over. Astros win 5-2, and they tie up the series 1-1.
It's a great game, though, all around, man. I just feel like the Phillies just did not capitalize on Valdez and his off-speed stuff, him just kind of trying to – I mean, Craig, really quick, let's talk about it. Curveball, 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 curveball. Sinker that was still a curveball. I mean, Craig, it was a day for Valdez. I promise you, he's icing his elbow right now, but he is probably not exhausted to that extent. What do you think for Valdez you could really take away knowing that this is a series now?
I mean, for Valdez, giving him that confidence, like if they need him, say for instance, this series goes, 5, 6 or 6, 7 games.
Right.
Valdez now has that confidence to know that, okay, I got those two bad outings last year's World Series off my shoulders. And now he pitched, I mean, he had 6 1/3. He gets the W for the night. So he's 2-0 this postseason, 4 runs, 3 walks, but 9 strikeouts and only 1 earned run. So it gives him a lot of confidence to know that he can pitch in the big moment. And so now with Houston, you obviously wanted to avoid getting in that 0-2 hole and then traveling to Philadelphia tomorrow to play Monday. But like we've said this entire broadcast, that the Phillies accomplished, and they're showing Altuve the first 8 games of this postseason, he was 4 of 37, and then now tonight he was 3 of 4.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're the Astros, that is something that you've been waiting and waiting and waiting the whole postseason for Altuve to turn it around and to be the Altuve that they are accustomed to seeing in the postseason.
Check his shirt.
Like his shirt.
I just said check his shirt. Check it right now.
Oh, check his shirt.
Check his shirt. Give me the buttons. Give me the wires. Let me see it. No, but in all seriousness, I think, what a better time to do it. I don't care if you go 0 for 25 or 0 for 23 or whatever it was from the wild card all the way to the NLCS or ALCS for them. As long as you are there in the big moments. I mean, let's talk about Jorge Soler. Jorge Soler last year was a World Series MVP, but I promise you, your casual fan isn't telling you what he did in the NLDS or the NLCS. It's when it mattered most. That's when you guys show up. So for him to hit his stride right now, check his shirt, it is really just like the best time for him to do it. And I think, it's very interesting that it's on the biggest stage to when, he's starting to have so much success. And, it's sometimes it's shocking. Sometimes, you hit the buzzer and you just make that final shot and, trash cans, and mad proud of Jose Altuve today.
Yeah. And now, like we said, this entire broadcast, that Philly did what they needed to do. You were hoping that in a series like this, where you're a big underdog and you come out and steal game 1 after getting down 5-0,
right.
And you come back and win 6-5. Now you're traveling back home to Philly to a rowdy crowd in Philly. They're going to be ready for that. They're going to be ready for that World Series.
Mm-hmm.
And I would fully expect that they're likely going to dissect the first 2 games, each of their at-bats, and try to figure out, like, okay, what can we do now in game 3? I don't think they've announced the starters yet for game 3.
No, I would imagine. Hold on. I don't think Syndergaard will be. Let me look at Phillies rotation. I know somebody's had a lot of success. I can't think of them by name. But for the Astros, McCullers is my guy, I would think, going into it. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would think that McCullers has got to be a guy they'll turn to. If not game 3, definitely game 4.
Right.
But yeah, for the Phillies, you did what you had to do, and you wanted to steal a game on the road. You did that. I was not expecting the Phillies to pull the same thing they did in game 1 and be able to go up 2-0. If they did, awesome, great. You're in a fantastic position going back home to try to extend the lead to 3-0. But for the Astros to even it back up, you kind of expected that after the way game 1 ended, that how would the pitching staff for the Phillies be able to hold up against this offense for the Houston Astros? And we saw tonight that Zach Wheeler, really outside of the 2 innings, he pitched really well. It's just you can't have those two really bad innings.
Right.
And that's really what did them in for Philly.
Yeah, so right here, Ranger Suarez and Lance McCullers are DraftKings is not confirmed, but most likely for who's pitching game 3. Noah Syndergaard would be pitching game 4 for the Phillies, and I don't have who's for the Astros right now, but it's definitely something I think, Lance McCullers, we're talking about sliders, we're talking about off-speed pitches. I mean, he is both in one. He's going to hit you with the heat and he's going to hit you with the placement, and he can really paint the corners. And I think that's something really dangerous going in right now. Suarez has been great, I think, throughout the series so far, and not the series, the playoffs so far. He's really been one of those guys who can step up as a number 3, and that's a huge reason why Noah isn't pitching game 3. He's been outperformed by Suarez, but against this team, like you said, with Bregman coming in hot, and then obviously Altuve finding his place and finding his role, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see those guys pop off and what the Phillies need to do offensively in order to get going, because you can't have 6 runs one day and then obviously, if you look at it for what it is, Craig, you had two good innings of baseball offensively from the Phillies so far in this series. And then the rest of it has just kind of been a dogfight for them to put in runs. Guys are getting on base. It's just really just producing runs right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned the starters. See if I can bring that up real quick while we're.
Yeah, I mean McCullers. I don't see why McCullers isn't pitching.
Yeah, so the probable starters listed for the Phillies and Astros. You got game 3 Suarez and McCullers, then Syndergaard and Javier, and then game 5 you would see Nola and Verlander. Now, of course, once you get to game 5, that's where. See if I can. It won't zoom in. It won't zoom in that much, so it's all right. But for game 5, that's where you start seeing all the adjustments being made. That's when you'll see maybe some guys will be on short rest. It really just kind of depends on what the rotations look like to that point. So far we know we're going to see McCullers and then Syndergaard in game 4 for the Phillies, and McCullers in game 3 for Houston. I think that's a good matchup, Suarez and McCullers in game 3, because we know what we've seen from McCullers, and that's I think if you're Houston, you got to have a lot of confidence that you could go into that game and steal home field advantage back.
And I think, in all respect to the Atlanta Braves organization and just everybody else from top to bottom, I truly do believe the Houston Astros were a McCullers away from really, and to be honest, a healthy Alex Bregman away from winning the World Series last year. That's just me personally. I felt like McCullers was a big part of that injury where he had a season-ending injury. Obviously, Alex Bregman finished out the year, but he also had a season-ending injury as well, if you account having that surgery after the fact. It's like saying Zach LaVine didn't have a season-ending knee surgery. No, he did. He just waited like an idiot. But that's neither here nor there. But Craig, for you, game 5, let's say games 3 and 4, Philly takes both. Game 5 is going to be in Philly. The next 3 are in Philly, so it's going to be super exciting. Game 5, are you starting Justin Verlander? Now, let me remind you, a little refresher. 0-8 in the World Series, over 6 ERA.
Would I do it? I would probably start Valdez on short rest. But we're talking about Dusty Baker here.
Dusty sees it as an alpha male move, and
Dusty would be like, "Hey, I know you're 0-8 in the World Series, but this is your shot."
Dusty's like, "If I do this, I'm the greatest to ever do it."
Yeah, I think that's probably what would happen. I don't think Dusty would make an adjustment there.
I think Justin comes in as a reliever. That's just me.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Justin Verlander to start that game, but it would be like all hands on deck. Like McCullers, Valdez, those guys are going to be like, "Hey, if it's second, third inning, we're going to get you. Get ready." Like everyone, all hands on deck. Especially if it's a clinching game and Verlander struggles in the World Series. it's a possibility. I would love to see this series to go to 7, Damian. I think this would be a fantastic series to do that.
That would be in Houston, right?
It would be in Houston. Yep. Game 6 and 7 would be in Houston. So it'd be, I think it'd be great for baseball, especially with both of these fan bases and how they both had their runs to the World Series. I think it'd be great to see it go 7 games. I had said beforehand, I think the Astros win it in 6, but I just think the Astros are a little bit too much, just top to bottom.
I think that's a lot more realistic than a lot of people had. I think a lot of people underwhelmed it and said that Astros in 4, Astros in 5. So I think that's a good place.
Yeah. So the next game is going to be Monday, 7 p.m.
Halloween
in Philly. Yeah. Halloween.
I can't wait to see the Philly costumes. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Philly always knows they always know how to bring it. Their fan base is
second to none. Honestly, they're great.
They're very interesting.
When it comes, and I meant that in like when it comes to celebrating and when it comes to having a great time, I feel like Philly is second to none. Philly baseball.
That is true. That is true.
Now, obviously, the Cubs are elite, but
I would love to see that. That's one place I have not seen a game yet. I've been outside of Wrigley, but I've not been in Wrigley.
You're always welcome, Craig. You're always welcome. We can go to a game.
Absolutely. I'm totally down for that. That'd be
we got my guys coming up soon too. Brendan Davis, Matt Mervis, guys like that. And they're always hooking it up. So we're definitely going to have to get it going.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to go see a game there.
For sure. But Craig, man, again, bro, I appreciate you having me on. It was a blast. Anytime we can do this again. I know we have 3 more guaranteed games, but
3 more guaranteed games. Well,
we're on this going in the next year.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, we'll figure out the next time that we can do something like this. I know the hardest part is my schedule, honestly.
It's all good.
Family and all that kind of stuff, and that whole thing about work. That's always.
Craig just called me broke and alone.
No,
I don't want to do this anymore.
No, I saw your pictures at the pumpkin patch, man. You won't be alone.
Whoa. We got a narc in the building. Holy shit. I didn't see that one coming. I didn't even remember I did that.
Ladies, Mike Hughes is available.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I didn't say that. Hey,
you didn't say that.
I love Cass. That's all I'm gonna say.
I said it for him.
Stop it.
All right, but hey, this is a lot of fun.
3 hours and 49 minutes.
We're crowding 4 hours in this thing.
And Craig waited till the last minute to just get me in trouble, and that is insane. That is insane.
No, Mike's a fantastic human being. That's I'm not gonna. I'm just
we're having. You don't understand. She's Mexican. It's too late. It's locked in her brain. She's heavily Hispanic. It's over. It's done.
I'm sorry.
Mike Hughes is on Tinder. No, sir, I am not.
No,
I'm not gonna lie to you. I was on Tinder. Before Craig. I was, and it was just a cesspool of weird shit, and I was not rocking with it.
That's what that place is all about.
Yeah,
but you know a place that you can rock with, and that's the ASAP Network.
Oh, the ASAP Network, right?
That's the ASAP Network. You can rock with the ASAP Network. You can find us on social media. We're live tonight on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and of course live on the Fox D Network, Tiki Live, and Roku. You can find us on social media. You can hit us up on YouTube, search ASAP Sports Network, on Facebook at All Sports All Plays, on Twitter at ASAP Network 1, and on Twitch at ASAP Network. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe buttons, and of course comment. We love interacting with everybody, and of course Damian, one of our mainstays. We talk to him a lot here on any of the streams that we have. So Damian's gonna get us all in trouble. So we gotta go. We gotta get this thing off the air.
Gotta go. Don't even pull it up.
Damian's gonna get us all in trouble. So
Damian's gonna make me act up. So I gotta go again.
So
farmersonly.com, ASAP Network. All of it's great.
All of it's great. We have a lot of fun here on ASAP Network, but
Phillies in 6.
Phillies in 6.
Phillies in 6.
I would love to see Philly win. I know Houston, they got a great fan base. They're very passionate about their team. They've been there 4 out of the last 6 years. I think it's time. Let's let Philly have one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Let's let Philly win it.
Can I ask you one last question before we get out of here?
Yeah.
Dynasty or not, the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers. 4 trips, 1 ring apiece.
It depends on how you define dynasty, because if you define dynasty by amount of championships won, then I don't think either one technically is a dynasty.
That's where I'm at with it. I think in a 4 rings or 4 trips, you need 2. That's me.
Yeah, I would say if you've made it 4 times in 6 years, if you've got 2 or more rings, that's a dynasty.
Right.
I agree with that.
Yeah. And let's talk about it. The bubble was the Dodgers and the scandal was the Houston Astros. So take that for what it is. Again, not trying to hurt feelings.
Yeah.
Craig, send us home.
All right. Yeah, just that is what it is. We'll just kind of leave it there.
I'll leave that there. You do what you want with it.
Yep. But hey, we had a lot of fun. We were watching along to this game 2 of the World Series. Your final score tonight: the Houston Astros 5, the Philadelphia Phillies 2. They tied the series up 1-1, and now Game 3 is going to be Monday night, 7 p.m. on Fox in Philadelphia. And we had a lot of fun. We're going to try to do this again later on in the series. But for Mike Hughes, I am Craig Campbell. Have a great night, everyone, and we will see you next time on ASAP Network.
Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. Whole sports all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. Sport all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports all plays.